You don't need a killer dragon for me. Ooh, I don't need no fairy tale.
Last time, you guys were continuing your investigation inside of the avium. We ended up in the archive. You did some research, you learned some things, and then you were attacked by evil shadow beasts or creatures or something. Evil shadows. And afterwards, you attempted to discover where these shadows came from, or perhaps where they were going to abscond with Mordain 2 and Pepper or Genra with her amazing eyes. Similar to someone else's amazing eyes from another game way back in the day. Was anyone in that game
Special
that's in this game? No, I guess not. I want to say 3 campaigns ago, one of the characters had observant, the perception feat.
Wow.
And it gives you like a +4 or 5 or something to your passive perception. So
Yeah.
you just see everything all the time.
Yeah.
And
My passive is a 22. Tell me all the things, DM.
exactly. And so I always used to yell at him, something like, "Bob, with your amazing eyes!" And then I tell him what he sees. But it was normally like, "There are 18 dust bunnies cavorting in a nearby hole." There's never anything useful because, you know,
Right.
why would that happen?
God, +5 to passive wisdom, so they could have a 20 in passive.
Yeah, he had a 21 passive perception.
Oh my god. That'd just be too perceptive. I feel like I'd overload my brain.
That's why he saw so many useless things.
Yeah, it's a tough life.
Okay, so camera fixed. These guys, or Genra, noticed a secret chamber entryway, and you went in there. You were almost murdered by some traps, but you weren't. Then you went into what looked to have been some sort of like personal study. There were 2 large bookcases, a rotted and broken chair, and a whiskey cabinet. You did some investigating about the room. The moss covering the ceiling seemed to be somewhat magical. Might have been some sort of potions leak. There were 2 books, one of which was heavily necromantic. The other one I have already forgotten. And there was
necromancy, conjuration, like weak conjuration, and then a
all right. And then there were 3 liquids in fanciful containers, but I don't remember if those were looked at or not.
No.
had not looked at those yet.
Okay.
Ugla looked at them and then told Lycus to take a look when he finished with the books. So we're
right. You were gonna ask Lycus, but he was looking at the ceiling, and then everyone got distracted by the books.
Mm-hmm. And we were just looking at opening up the 3rd, the divination book. We decided not to open up the necromancy book. The conjuration book seemed relatively harmless because it was a very whatever magic it had gone off. Like it hadn't gone off, but it had weakened to the point where it was kind of like, okay, that's a really weak spell.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we were going to get one of the skeleton servants to open the necromancy book.
Oh yeah, to see if it would eat him or something. Okay. Cool. So you guys were just about to open the divination book.
Yeah, we were going to start with the name of it, and it was something fun.
Were we? Is that a thing that we definitely did? Are you sure?
Yeah,
it didn't have a name on the cover.
Oh yeah, I did have a name. I wrote it down, didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah.
You did. It's in this chat.
It was something really fun, like Tabitha.
The oracular predictions of Miser
Oh, yeah.
Miriam.
Yes.
Miser
yes.
Miriam. There it is.
Yep.
I'll put it down at the bottom below all of our jingles. All right. So, who's opening the oracular predictions of Miser Miriam?
Not I.
Somebody had it in their hands. Lycus might have had it in his hands.
But
Ready
yeah,
to go.
it was definitely Lycus or Mordain.
Yeah.
Rezek wasn't there because he had indigestion.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
No, I was off talking to what's his name?
Yeah, what's his name? That guy.
Mm.
Morty.
No.
Nope. Not what happened.
I think you're talking to Craig the janitor.
Probably Craig.
Who you thought was Morty?
Roll I don't know, charisma for your conversation with Craig. All right. So you found Craig up in the divination area while you were looking for Morty. He introduced himself as Morty's personal assistant and asked you said that he could probably help you since Morty isn't available. And then you went on this 4-hour conversation with this man whose name is Craig, and only 3.5 hours into it he was like, oh, by the way, my full name is Craig Christ. I'm here to tell you about the joys and the journey I've been through. And he spends the next half hour trying to convert you to his religion. Now, I mean, his religion's pretty solid. It's about fucking bitches and turning water into wine at parties. So.
It's called Christism.
It's called Cristal.
Cristal, yes.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's what Platinum Club members get to call it.
Yes.
Hard pass on it.
You're not interested in Christism? Can't believe you're passing on Christism.
I'm really upset too.
Want to do, and I came across a passage about a guy in the Bible I'd never.
Now we have to regale the various members of chat who have never heard about Craig.
Never come across his and he seemed to me relatively unknown to the public at large. And I thought this is a guy I could write a song about because not only is he kind of unknown, but he was kind of relatable.
Put it on the screen.
He really was. He was like an everyman. He was the kind of guy you would hang out with in everyday life.
Oh, this is legit.
I wanted to write a song
Yeah,
about him.
you thought I was just making stuff up, but I wasn't.
I did. No, this is real.
So,
correct.
Everyday life. So I wanted to write a song about him, and the best part is that he's related to someone else in the
Oh, that's really
so
good.
kind of put him into context.
I'm gonna bookmark that.
So we're gonna try out this song for you tonight. It goes like this. Everyone knows Jesus, the guy who healed the lame.
I feel like Seismic should cover this.
That'd be amazing.
That would be
Their
awesome.
voices are kind of similar. Ignore it. Oh, it's on stream.
It is on stream.
Jesus is the Prince of Peace. Jesus is the Lamb. Jesus is the Son of God. But Craig don't give a damn. Because when Craig's inside, we'll party all damn night. I don't turn water into wine, but into cold Coors Light. I'm not my brother, I know. Don't walk on H2O, but I got hydroponic shit that me and Judas grow. I'm fucking Craig. I'm fucking Craig. Yeah, I'm fucking Craig. Craig Christ.
All right. That's enough of that.
All right. Hesitantly,
It's great.
I tried to deny it at first, and after watching this, I'm
Look,
a
I think I like this stuff.
Now
You
you're kind of
reviewed
on board,
the
huh?
materials,
Yeah.
and you're like, "This is the best fucking thing I've ever heard of in my life."
Like
Sign me up.
it sounded kind of shifty, but then he pulled out a really official looking pamphlet, and you were like, "Holy shit, this is the real deal."
Mm-hmm.
The whole deal, nothing but the deal.
Mm-hmm. So
All right.
are you converting to Christism?
Yep.
All right. The first,
Nice.
he spends the next several hours telling you about the tenets of Christism and inducting you as the lowest level, a level 1 Christist, follower of Craig Christ.
When you wake up tomorrow, you will find you've lost 4 int.
True. However,
No.
however,
I
you
don't
will-
have that much to begin with.
you will have gained a +8 to charisma while
Mhm.
at parties.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm always looking for the. I'm going to make everything a party now.
Yeah.
Life's a party. Bam! Most charismatic character on the planet.
As long as there's like a mug of forest brew ready to go and a little acorn, it's a party.
Oh my god.
He's just gonna buy followers and like a keg and just carry them everywhere.
I'm going to be like it's with cheese now.
Yep.
Oh no.
That was definitely adequate.
Jeez.
Yeah, obviously, I'm nowhere near you guys, so
Yeah. All right. So you'll come in after they finish this scene to study here. So, you were opening the divination tome. Let's assume that Lycus was doing so, because why not? Lycus, you're opening the divination tome. Would you like to do or say anything before I kill you? I mean, tell you what's inside.
Party. Wait. I mean, Ugla. Genra, would you like to help me open this book collectively?
Can we do this together and share the pain?
Sure.
I guess so. Perhaps. Sure. Whatever.
Yeah, maybe we'll get like a cool vision from it, and this way we can all get it, right?
I hope that's all we get.
I hope that's all that's yeah.
I'll even open it with my burnt hand.
But aren't both of them?
Well, only half of one.
Let's use the non-burnt fingers.
You saying something wrong with my burnt fingers, sir?
Look, one magic interfering with another.
I'll open it with my toes. I can do this.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
There you go.
Or just gonna lay on his back and prop his foot up to help him open the book.
Okay. Pull open some reference material since you're all using the book at once.
Oh shit.
Thought I was only gonna have to murder James, but the rest of you touched it. So
Well, we all agreed it was pretty benign last session.
Did Mordain want
Nah,
in?
hell no. He's
like,
watching. He ain't dumb.
I'll let them open it.
Yeah.
He's the one that's supposed to be eager to open these.
And he
before
was,
us,
but then
so-
you guys got all pushy and mean.
I think I feel like we'd come to an understanding and like a mutual kinship towards the end there.
You think wrong.
I'm gonna get a little water. I'll be right back.
You
oh man,
you are wrong about that.
Shit. Mordain holds permanent what's the word?
Grudge.
Bereavement towards Ugla over that's not the right word. Holds a permanent grudge towards
yes.
Ugla over his suspicions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay then. Well, Ugla doesn't know that. He's gonna be real nice to him anyway.
Okay. All right. The three of you open the book. When James gets back, we will all make a save to the spell. I will go look up right now because I was busy looking at other things. Good job, Randy. Smart.
Even if you open it with your foot.
Even, you know what? You make 2 saves.
Okay. A deck save to stop from knocking the book out of people's hands with your foot. And then a wisdom save to learn not to open books with your fucking feet.
Yep. There you go.
Don't do it.
two of you can make a wisdom save, and so can James when he gets back.
All right, making a wisdom.
Wisdom
Let's
saves
do
for the
it.
3.
Let's save our wisdom.
What's wisdom?
How do I wise? Nice.
Mm.
Ugla knows. Lycus
Ugla
does
is
not.
born to open books with his feet.
Genra.
Maybe it's the foot. Maybe it is the feet.
Blow
Yeah,
pepper.
my lucky foot was what it was.
Is it my turn?
It's time to make a wisdom save.
I don't want to do
You already chose. That's not awful.
it. No, it's not bad.
No.
Okay. Ugla and Genra, you get a choice, whereas Lycus does not. When the three of you open the book, whether using a foot or not, you feel like a powerful surge of arcane energy, and it like enters your mind, and the two of you can choose to shrug it off, if you so choose.
I guess Genra's gonna shrug it off.
Okay.
Ugla's pretty curious what's in that book.
All right.
He feels it entering and knocking, and he says, I'm pretty grounded in who I am and what I believe in. Let's see what it has to say.
Okay. Lycus, you of course can't resist. Ugla and Lycus, both of you feel this powerful wave of energy, and for a moment you're like, oh, something's happening! But the only thing that actually happens is in your mind's eye, you see a number. And Lycus, your number is, I don't know, 26. And Ugla, your number was 418.
Mm. 418. That's a number of steps in the temple in
What?
26.
some
Come
town.
again? What?
Some
What are you
town.
spouting?
26. The number of roads a man must walk.
Indeed,
Right?
yes, yes.
418? What do these have to do with anything?
I don't know. I think it was the page number, but this is real short. Just when I was opening the book, I just thought of 418.
Maybe it's just a coincidence.
Hmm.
All right, let's flip back to 418 then, if there's 418 pages.
There aren't.
It's a pamphlet.
Yeah. It's not a pamphlet, but it is a
journal, you
small,
said
yes,
it.
it's a small volume. There are there's only maybe 100 pages total. However,
Are they numbered?
they are numbered, and there's way more than one entry per page on some pages.
Oh.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, let's go to entry 418.
Yeah, maybe that's something. This is fun.
There is a book that I need to know the name of. Hold on. I remember now. All I had to do is look at the bookcase. Then I remembered. Good job, bookcase. You stored a memory.
And a means of recall.
Indeed.
Books are so useful. Why burn them?
Okay. On the title page, you saw where did I put it? Oh yeah, the oracular predictions of Mysuberium. On the subsequent page, it begins a numbered list, and has a subheading that says the nice and accurate prophecies of Mysuberium. Number 1. And then goes on through what appears to be somewhere in the thousands.
Get some good omens vibes from this.
That's exactly where that's lifted from, so I would hope
Yo.
so.
All right.
So you went to 418 first?
Yep.
Okay. This is Ugla's prophecy. Ugla's okay. All right. It says how to make this suitably cryptic. In the circle lies the seed. But only once you've done the deed.
Ugla writes that
Also,
down. Oops.
comma,
Continues writing.
also, be sure to have a lean breakfast.
Well, that should be fine. I barely eat breakfast. In fact, I guess I should make sure I kind of eat something every day now.
Maybe you should start eating breakfast. Huh,
Start with the lean breakfast.
indeed.
All right, so let's flip over to 26.
All right, flipping way back to 26. Back at back in the 418, the writing style was very like sure, very like quick letters, sharp to like sharp angles and stuff like that. 26 and the early parts of the book look a little more scribbly, kind of like a hand holding a crayon with its entire fist, as opposed to a hand with a pen. And 26 says, eat big vegetables, not small vegetables. And when cold, seek warmth.
Oh, so some of the advice is practical. Wow.
What? What?
I
What
mean,
does that even mean?
it's just logic. Eats larger vegetables, not smaller ones. There's more nutrients. And if you get cold, seek warmth, right? Kind of explains
But
itself.
that's not a prophecy. That's like your
You
like
explain it.
8-year-olds telling you, like the child, the village scamp telling you that he learned something magnificent that day.
Hmm. Do you want to trade prophecies? I'll take that one. It's easy.
I don't think it quite works that way.
Eats nothing but spaghetti squash for the rest of his life. Always carries a sweater wherever he goes.
Yeah. I could make spaghetti squash work for like 2 days.
I mean, you're already practically doing number 26. I saw you have that giant head of broccoli last night, and then every time you're cold, you start a fire.
Mm.
Oh.
Mm. It's true. I suppose I already have been given this advice.
That's awesome.
All right, fine. So I will trade you because you're already following.
Yeah, there we go. We can share 418.
Ricky over there is like,
Yep. All right. There you go. This is how prophecies work. Oh, you don't like yours? Okay, we'll trade. That's cool.
Mhm. Totally fine.
who's
Like when
in
you
who's
trade your
school age
fortune- your
now?
fortune cookies.
Yeah, look, I don't like this particular kind of crackers with peanut butter in it. I want your cheese-filled
Can we
ones.
trade?
Mm.
Can we trade?
Yeah.
Mom sent me with
get-
like 2 fruit roll-ups, and you've got pizza. So
What do you think? 3 fruit roll-ups or 1 container of Jello pudding?
No, I want your
cookie
chicken
pudding
nuggets.
flavor.
definitely
3
fruit
fruit
roll-ups.
roll-ups.
I want your
2
chicken
chicken
nuggets.
nuggets.
Gotta get them chicken nuggies.
They were never up for deal.
Chicken nuggets.
I don't
You could
think
have Happy Yoo-hoo for 2 nuggets.
I don't think I ever traded lunch.
Dude, it was like a black market in like first grade because
Hmm.
the chicken nuggets were so good.
It's just
I feel like I traded a fruit roll-up at one point, or
Maybe
some.
it's-
I think
maybe
I
once,
traded my
yeah.
pretzels at some point. Maybe.
like I always wanted the food I had.
Yeah.
I didn't trade any of it.
Hmm.
And I spent my entire life that way. Like I didn't start sharing food until I was like late 20s.
Wow.
I fucking hated sharing food. I ordered everything I wanted to eat.
Yeah. I feel such a compulsion to try just like such a wide variety of incredible amounts of food that I would always willingly sacrifice part of my meal in order to try something new without having to buy the whole meal.
I didn't want your stupid food or anything. Your stupid face. It's
Yeah,
my
I'd be
food.
especially crushing you. Just let me try a corner, just a little bit. No, I
Yeah.
ordered this shit. You
You-
can't have it.
Your hand would have tiny fork marks in it. You would not be the first person whose hand I stabbed.
That works on everything except for pizza. I used to get angry when I would order just a plain ass pepperoni pizza, and then everybody else would be like, "I want blah blah blah. I want blah blah blah." They'd order
Why and blah blah blah.
fucking weird, dumb shit, and then
Yeah.
it all gets there, and everybody eats the pepperoni. And it's like, fuck you guys. And then all the other stuff is missing like one piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys didn't really want that. You wanted to try that.
Everybody's fucking. Hey, should we order pizzas? Yeah, let's get a cheese. We get a pepperoni. Should we get a veggie? Yeah, let's probably get a veggie. Nobody eats that shit.
Nope. Supreme's
do.
always missing 3 pieces.
Veggie is my favorite pizza. Like
Yeah.
100%. I love the artichoke.
Margarita.
Mm,
Margarita
Margarita's
pizza.
great, too.
No.
that's good too.
So, you have your small revelation. You look up your prophecy. Ta-da! You've got a book.
Cool.
Also, I apologize if I'm feeling impulsive today.
Okay.
It's all right. Okay, let's use that impulsivity. Let's figure out what those potions are. You're an alchemist, right?
Oh yes, we can figure out what they are if there's any labels on them. I'm also curious what the spittle is upstairs that's making the plants.
Oh yeah. Do you want to poke it with your finger? I
I
can lift you up.
mean, that seems terribly irresponsible. All right, up we go.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Why not? All right. So you're poking the ceiling with your potion hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh man.
This is a great plan. No one has ever regretted anything before.
It's fine.
Okay. Make a Constitution save.
I thought I automatically failed the.
You do. This is for something else.
Oh no.
Okay, you fail both. So you lift him up and he pokes the moss where you know the magical something is. He starts to like he freaks out. He kind of like he has a mini seizure and falls out of your hands. And he's on the ground and he kind of shakes a little while, and then eventually he goes and he goes like stiff as a board. And then a few seconds later he makes a big U shape, and then stiff as a board, and a U shape, and stiff as a board, and a U shape, and then a strangled word escapes his throat. Photosynthesis. 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 And he passes out.
I turn to the librarian. What is photosynthesis?
That's the process by which plant life absorbs sunlight for nutrition.
So he's maybe saying he needs some sunlight
Well,
to feel better.
I don't know. Probably some sort of poison, though. You know, I have heard of a sea sponge that behaves in this capacity at odd times.
Photosynthesis.
Well, I mean, let's see if it poisoned him. So I'm gonna put my hand on him and give him 5 points of lay on hands.
Okay. The
to,
poison.
try and cure any poisons he's got.
The poison clears from your system, and you no longer feel the urge to photosynthesize.
You give him a little shake and see if he wakes up.
Do I wake up?
You do.
Randy begrudgingly. You do.
You do.
So, what did you absorb? What does photosynthesis mean?
In your mind, you know that this is in fact a very strong plant growth mixture that has leaked out and just kind of soaked in over a long period of time.
Do I have any idea what it's composed of?
Like, how would you make it, or what do you mean?
Yeah, how you would make it.
Yeah, you got a rough idea about how you could construct a plant growth potion.
Cool.
Yeah.
That could actually be
Is,
very handy.
is there an alchemy room right above here? Uh, more.
Well, somewhere above, I'm sure.
Okay, well, I think someone may have left a bunch of things out that just accelerate plant growth.
Oh, fascinating.
Yes. Anyway, let's check out those other 3 potions. Let's see. Do they have any labels on them? Let's.
That would be
Yeah,
ridiculous, James. Labels.
Labels are probably easier than just absorbing it into your body like that. I mean, it's cool that you figured it out that way, but that was a little scary.
I keep getting knocked out whenever I touch things with this hand. I probably should stop doing that at some.
I mean, you're learning what they are, though, right? And you
Sort of. I
feel
mean, I still
okay?
haven't figured out what that one thing is.
Indeed.
Which
The one
which
thing.
one?
Huh?
Which one thing?
Oh, I shouldn't say anymore. Anyway, with the
Hmm.
The
Over in the
potion.
cupboard.
Okay, so there's the cupboard. It's got 3 glass vials in it. They look more like liquor than potions, but so there's one that's like in a very fancily blown glass resemblance to a keg, a wooden keg, but it is glass. One is just a standard but finely crafted crystal decanter, and the first one was something. There were 3, and I described them all differently. The first one is in the shape of a mushroom. Yes, yes. Not a right side up mushroom, an upside down mushroom. You know, like that giant, impossible to clean decanter that people buy for decoration. It's like this wide, this big, and it's got like an 8-inch stem and then a fucking enormous base. Impossible to clean.
Well, if you let wine sit in there overnight, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, it looks like that. Thoughts? Comments?
Someone had a liquor cabinet?
Maybe. Do these bottles look familiar to you, Mordain? Are they standard stock? Mordain?
Yeah, it looks like liquid. They're not labeled, so I don't know. Alcohol?
All right, let me just have a quick sniff of each one to figure out if what they are. Just
They
a
were magical too, though.
One of them was magical.
Yeah.
humna,
Oh.
humna, humna, humna.
You should still
Which
be
one's
active. We haven't taken that long. Although it broke concentration, you passed out.
You guys have been down here quite a while. It takes a long time to investigate stuff and read through and discover and decipher.
Mm-hmm.
So, you are recasting?
Detect magic, yes.
Okay.
So he doesn't sniff the necrotizing potion.
Correct. Okay. The mushroom one is in fact magical. It has a transmutation aura.
Hmm.
It has a transmutation aura.
Yep. It has a transmutation.
Wow.
Isn't
Means-
that what was in the ceiling?
Of a different sort.
Hmm.
Possibly. I'm not sure what it is. Why don't we go ahead and take it with us and we can figure it out.
Yeah, it can change things. Should be useful.
Exactly. And let's take a sniff of the other 2 bottles real quick. So wafting the gases off of.
Okay. You waft the vapors. The
Yes.
cask or the keg shaped one or the cask shaped one Just smells like a very potent, probably whiskey. And the crystal clear one smells acrid. You'd be tempted to call this an acid rather than an alcohol, like based on its smell, which isn't
Does it
necessarily.
smell like a vinegar?
Yeah, like this. It doesn't necessarily mean it's not alcohol. Just that it's extremely strong smelling, and it burns your nose even just to smell the vapors.
All right, well, plugging that one back up. Well, Dane, if you need any whiskey, I think here's a little supply for.
Oh,
Is that legal in the school?
for teachers.
Okay.
Who's going to stop him?
Also true.
Yeah, maybe we can give it to Mordain here as a gift for all the help you've provided us today. Maybe as a means to forget the shadow creatures dragging you down a hallway. That was probably pretty
Oh,
scary.
I won't be forgetting that. I don't think.
I don't know. You drink enough of that, maybe you will.
Yes.
So
I'm-
yeah, Ugla's gonna take the bottle, hand it to him, and clap him on the back.
Which bottle?
The
The one that's
cask.
indicated to be whiskey.
Ah, the cask one. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you doing with the other one?
Just throw it in the bag of holding.
You've got the mushroom glass and the crystal glass.
Yep.
Okay. Having him a
Oh,
little
hear that?
dream over there.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Was on Sunday. I go on a super long walk with the dog, and there's a big field where there was like a small fire, and it burnt all the vegetation up. And then groundhogs moved in, so it will never grow again because it's full of groundhogs. But they're still there, and they just kind of hang out, and it's like it straddles the walking path on both sides. There's just giant groundhog burrow. So every time anyone gets close, one of them pops up. Beep, 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 beep.
Really?
Beep, beep, beep. Like, he's the watchdog. Groundhogs do that. Like one of them's on watch duty, and he'll fucking chirp out anytime some danger's nearby.
I
And
love it.
I mean, this dude's like 10 feet from me at a hole, just beep, 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 beep. Like,
That's adorable.
it's really cool.
That's hilarious.
Big
wanna
chubby
see that.
groundhog.
No. Groundhogs. You're thinking of the movie Groundhog. Groundhogs are the size of a large squirrel.
Like a meerkat or whatever.
Meerkats are longer
Prairie
and
dog.
thinner. Prairie dog. That's it.
Prairie dog.
Okay.
That's cute. I'm gonna have to-
That is adorable.
In fact, I'm using the wrong word. These are prairie dogs, not groundhogs.
Oh, which
I
are
was
very
gonna say,
small.
groundhogs
Like they're fucking
Pretty
adorable.
large.
Yeah. You're right. These are prairie dogs.
So groundhogs get probably the size of dungeons dog.
Yeah.
That's cool that they're out in your neck of the woods. Usually, pretty plain centric.
You know what? I think we actually have those too here. They just like remind me of chipmunks, and I assume they were chipmunks.
Yep. That's him. That's him right there. He just fucking stands up and cheep. I think I took a picture.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a fuck ton of them around here. That's so funny. They're so cute.
yeah, it's incredible. We do not have those in the South, man.
Yeah, I've never seen them in the South either. But they're definitely out here. They're cute.
Oh, it's adorable, man. I've seen so many documentaries with these little guys in them.
Why did I click on this? Get out of here. Yeah.
Like they're all over Mexico too.
There we go. That's me walking by their big
Aw.
burrow and the
That's
watchdog chirping.
I love it.
That looks like a mini.
This little face. That's awesome.
Oh my god.
Alert!
It's just so alien to where I live. That's awesome.
Anyways,
I'm gonna say
so
before we get started,
Yes.
I do apologize. I might have to go into work. We got some maintenance going on, and one of the switches that was being upgraded tonight didn't come back up.
Kosher, you did this to us last week.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't
How
expect
could
any
you?
issues with this.
I believe
But
the phrase is,
I don't have to go in yet. So
Okay, cool.
if it happens, I believe the phrase is, "Way she goes."
Way she goes.
Way
They're up
she
to
goes.
guys,
Way to
guys,
go.
I gotta go. Way she goes. Step out. You ain't gonna say anything else? Well, no.
Oh my god.
So, you've investigated all the things, I think. What are you doing?
Let's take the Necronomics book out to the skeleton dudes.
Okay.
That's the last thing.
So that hallway that we came in,
Mhm.
this was the only thing it led to, right?
That you know of.
Okay, so we might have more to explore.
There's always a
Outside of this room.
chance.
We
Okay.
would just have to be perceived.
You'd have to be very perceptive.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well,
Thoughts?
I don't know. I guess Genra's gonna walk outside of the room and just kind of try to see down the hallway. So I will roll perception.
Okay.
Not the best roll, but
You don't see anything aside from the one.
should I? I mean, is it like there's just a wall in front of me?
Yeah,
Or-
it was a narrow 5 foot, like 5 foot wide, 20 foot long corridor. At the end
Yeah.
of which were two traps, and on the left side was the door to this room.
Right. And so, like, I would have seen maybe something leading out to the, like, any potential other thing if I'd rolled investigate to see the traps, right?
Correct. If they were there.
Yeah, if they were there. Okay. All right. I'm just making sure.
Okay. Alrighty. So you take the book out, and Genra takes one last look at the hallway and finds nothing else. You are now back in the library proper, or the archive. Sitting at a desk, looking bored and unsure where you might have gone, is Rethick.
Oh, hey Rezik, how's it going?
it's going well. It's going well.
Yeah, this has been an interesting research project.
Yeah.
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Well, I went and talked to this guy named Craig, trying to find Morty, but
Yeah.
All three of you notice that Rezik appears to be not like hiding, but just kind of like camouflaging a small stack of pamphlets in his offhand.
What are you? What is that? What do you have there?
well, why don't you guys check it out for yourself? And I hand them the pamphlets.
Okay.
Me and
Everyone-
this guy talked about this for like 4 hours.
Everyone gets a pamphlet about the merits and benefits of the followers of Christism.
Ugly's gonna start reading it. What does it say?
It says that their god is the god of joy and success in social situations. His ritualistic worship is always performed at parties, especially large parties that he has termed bacchanals, though you don't know what that word means. And their primary ritual turns fresh water into a varieties of low-grade alcohol.
Ugly's gonna look at it, laugh a little, and say, "Oh, that looks like fun." And he's gonna hand it back to Rezik.
Rezik, you really shouldn't bother with things like this. I mean, you could do so much better. I'm not even that old, and I know that. We killed a kosher.
I mean, it's important to enjoy and identify and find solace in your religion, and I'm sure there's some people that really enjoy partying. So, okay,
Maybe they lose themselves in it.
I mean,
Yes, I'm sure they lose themselves
They're
very,
losing their
one way
religion.
or another.
very dangerous for staying on the path of goodness. But I mean, you just want to have some fun, as long as you're not hurting anybody, right?
Is that what you want, Rezik? You just want to have some fun?
Yeah, I want to have some fun. I don't want to get black shit on my fingers anymore.
Well, I suppose you should speak to your god of joy and see if he can do anything about that.
I will, because under office, this is what I got.
Great. Let me know how that turns out. If he can change it, I will give it a shot myself.
Oh yeah, Altus is all about enduring hardship. There's probably a lot more black fingers in the future,
Oh no.
both literal and metaphorical.
Cut it off.
I don't know about you, but one of my hand knocks me out anything I touch anytime I touch anything with it. So, that's a curse.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of things are a curse, I suppose.
What's a curse with a blessing, right?
Hmm.
So,
So what about you guys? What have y'all been doing this entire time?
Hanging out with our buddy Mordain, fighting some shadow monsters, discovering hidden passages, reading
What?
books, cool stuff.
That's way more cool than Christ
I
is.
mean, you abruptly left us, and then all this shenanigans happened, and it was a very ridiculous mess that we had to deal with. And yeah, we found a secret passage in this library, and I suppose something in a little study room, but I'm not really sure if any of it is valuable to us or not. But it was strange. It was quite strange. Those shadow things. They were stealing away Mordain here, but they weren't going to kill him. They were just going to supposedly take him into that room, and I don't know why. So there's definitely something missing from this whole event that we do not know. But
Wait, so they were going to
whatever.
take them into the room that y'all went to?
I mean, they were going to take him somewhere, and it seemed like that was the place they were going. So I don't know exactly what they planned to do once they got him in the room, but that's all we could figure.
So what you guys find in the room? Like, obviously, I'm kind of, I know what you kind of said, but it was like, what
No,
exactly
you're
did
good.
you guys find in the room?
A
Well,
book of
I guess.
oh, okay. A book of strange prophecies. A book that was whose magic was fading. A book of some sort of essence draining necromancy that was quite strong. That small one of the skeletons is going to open up for us, and then uh, a magical potion and a bunch of plants that had been grown uh, through some sort of alchemical and magical effect. I'm not really sure to describe it. All I know is it knocked me out. It made me want to photosynthesize.
Yeah, magic growth plants.
Oh,
A
photo
whole
what?
bunch of random garbage, it seems, that who knows if any of it would be useful. I'm not quite sure how it's all involved and related to Mr. Mordain here, but something, maybe the books. I'm
Maybe they
unclear at this
throw him
point.
in the hallway.
Yeah,
Maybe they're gonna put him in the room until whoever told them to do it could come talk to him. Anything's possible.
perhaps that's not a bad idea. I mean, that could lead us into
Oh,
more. I
maybe we
Someone
should just seal the room back up and see
reset
who
the
comes
trap.
looking for it.
Are
Like,
you saying we should put Mordain in there
I'm,
and bait him?
no, we. I think he can just, well, I guess he would have to stay
You know,
down somewhere.
actually, Ugla, you're onto a mighty fine idea. What if we posed one of the skeletal beings as Mordain and put him in that room and just kind of observed what happened?
Oh, that's a
More
great
danger
idea.
Trig, right?
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
great idea. Oh well,
Why
I mean
don't
he'll be a little bigger than them, so we'll stack two
Eh,
on each other's shoulders.
shadow
Mordain,
beings.
go ahead and take off your clothes, and we'll put them on these skeletons and put them down in that room. No one will
Strip
know.
down nude and we'll just put your clothes.
Yeah, this
why
will be.
don't
This is a great plan.
Ugla, why don't you just pretend to be him?
Ooh, Ugla.
Lord.
Genra is like so into this idea because obviously she feels a little animosity towards him. So, you know, the idea of putting him in a little bit of danger.
I don't. I don't know if I can hunch over far enough to look like Mordain.
Oh,
Well, if you
Ugla,
don't think you can
don't
pull it off,
be
don't worry about it.
ridiculous. You would look just like him.
Maybe on my knees.
He's not that short.
He's pretty. He's pretty old and crooked.
He's old, but it doesn't mean he can't stand up straight.
Mordain tries to stand up straight. Ha! Ugh.
No. He's old, but he's got his male pride, so he stands up and makes no noise, and just like toughs it
Just hear a
out.
bunch of popping.
Yeah, you definitely hear a large amount of popping. Just a. But he's standing there like, I'll show you, young whippersnapper.
Either
No.
way, I'm not really sure how it would work. I don't
No.
know what we could do to entice whoever it is, but they definitely wanted to put him in that room, it seems. Or perhaps just, I don't know, maybe one of the traps would catch him and not the shadow being and then kill him or something. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure.
I
Well,
kind
I
of.
don't know what the purpose was because they were attacking us and trying to capture him.
I kind of feel like if we keep Mordain down here and then we just monitor to who's gonna, if somebody just comes and looks or just checks on this kind of stuff, or
Perhaps
tries to
you're
listen
right.
to it, maybe we could catch somebody.
They might have already been here, though. Maybe we should search around this library and see if we can find anyone.
While we were down there,
Yeah,
maybe.
we were down there quite a while.
That's true. Is there a guest list that gets checked in Mordain, or do you normally run that?
Oh, I don't really keep track, as it's usually only professors.
So, Mordain, I was intending to ask, has anyone been down here in the last year investigating the same topics we?
These topics? Not that I can think
Oh,
of.
all right, because it seems like the tears out of the books are within the last.
That is troubling.
But if you have shadow creatures down here doing whatever, then it could easily have been them as well, if they knew where the
Yes,
books were.
that
Which
would
I
make
guess
sense.
leads to a different line of questioning, which is who else would know where these books are?
Well, the servitors, of course, and there is, the dean. Um, hmm. I suppose just he and I are likely to know the location of the majority of the contents of the archive.
And are there any still living librarians who used to work here?
Oh no, I've been head of the archive for some 20 years. My predecessor was already well past his prime.
Hmm.
And you don't think he would have kept a catalog or anything similar for where the books?
No, I occupy his room, and all of his possessions were the property of the school when he died.
Hey, did we look for
Oh,
any?
so he has perished.
Indeed, yes, he passed on some years back.
Did we look for any journal or personal effects or logs in any of the books down there?
Well,
Just that one.
You didn't look. You found one from in the divination book.
Yeah.
But and remember, the vast majority of the books in that room were destroyed.
Is that kind of
Um,
like a context clue that the ones we got were the only useful books?
Not necessarily. You could probably search for others. It was really just more of a context clue that like searching here is difficult and finding something is also.
Right.
Also, before this scene, he had called for medical aid, and
Right.
as you were all standing around, having this chat, several upper level college or university medics come down the stairs, and they have to be upper level because one, they're stronger, and two, they need permission to enter the archive. And so the two of them enter the area and just go bustling about. He's bustling. Oh, over here, we have several wounded, and I believe they've looked to have had some of their strength sapped away as well by these evil shades. Please take care of it. And they bustle about and start healing your damage and your strength damage.
So I'm gonna roll insight on more damage
About
Yep.
what?
because he specifically called them shades instead of shadows.
Okay.
Like it's not a hidden thing that would be something you would properly call it, but the fact that he seems to know more all of a sudden about what they seems curious.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Alright.
And he knew that they sapped my strength.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
He,
I was like,
he seems to be genuine and is interested in assisting you. Also, for reference, in 5e they are in fact called shadows. The shade creature is no longer in D&D.
Fair enough. Okay.
Shade is a colloquialism in this case.
Genra's gonna speak up. So, Mordain, have you dealt with these before? You seem very familiar with them.
Oh, one studies in all my years does lead down very curious roads. And as a young man, as he looks towards Lycus, kind of expecting that you're a wizard, but not really sure because he hasn't actually seen what you do. As young arcane studies do go, you get curious about the darker side of things. Theoretically, of course, theoretically.
Fair enough. That makes sense. I just wondered if you'd encountered these beings before in here.
Only in books, my lad, my lady, my lass.
He corrects himself 3 times
does.
awkwardly.
Political correctness with you young whippersnappers has always been so difficult.
I mean, maybe we should store him back in that room.
I'll not be stored in any rooms, Ogla.
I mean, okay, yeah, probably not.
Where's the where's the servitor that has the book?
Oh, you've got the book. We still need to hook him up.
Yeah, you still have the book.
Sorry, what was?
You still have the book.
Oh, the necromancy book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, once everyone gets patched up, we'll have the medics evacuate, leave, and then we'll see what one of the servitors.
You start to say evacuate the area and say move along.
Move along. Move along.
Okay, I have a question. Really
Yes.
fast. Okay, so I'm looking at the map where we are. I know when we had to deal with the shadows, like, weren't they on like one side of each? I don't know where they were.
So you
Did
guys,
they go down like two
you
rows?
guys were
is what I'm
here.
asking.
You guys were all up here, and like pictured off screen as a bunch of tables.
Uh-huh.
Tables. Then you heard the call for help, and Rezik wasn't there, and the three of you ran up this row
Uh-huh.
and were attacked.
So that second area is missing 85% of the books.
Correct. This section basically destroyed.
Okay. I was trying to figure out if I saw like the shadows in another row, like in case they could try to like throw us off and maybe send us down this other passage, but there's another passage nearby or something. Just
The only shadows you saw were your own. You saw no other shadows, and you didn't even see Mordain until after the fight.
So we didn't see him be dragged by a shadow. We just saw him being drugged by
You
something.
saw like a disappearing leg, and then you were attacked.
Got it. Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so you're all back here. As a reminder, as it has been kind of 2 sessions in this scene, you guys had been suspicious of Professor Nightseed. You wanted to talk to the dean again,
And Morty.
and you're still looking for
the
Morty,
divination professor.
right? And the divinations professor.
And we needed Nightseed to talk about the hand curse too, right?
That was a thought that she might know. You also
And
yes.
go ahead. Sorry.
And she also, knows about. She knows, controls, and knows the most about the servitors. One of which is acting very oddly.
Right.
And you wanted to see if opening the book with a servitor had any sort of explosive effects. The medics finish up. They say that your wounds are all healed, and by morning, your strength will have returned as well.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So, shall we grab a servitor and call him over and try that book out, since that seems like the quickest thing that we could do here?
Yeah.
Yes, servitors.
Okay. You say servitors, and nothing happens because you have no control over servitors.
Mordain.
Mordain looks at you, smiles a little. Servitors, please, if you could attend us. And 3 or 4 of them come by and stand there. Did you need them for something?
Yes, could you have one of them take the necromancy book about 30 feet away from us, maybe?
Certainly.
And then
Put it on that table over there, if you would. And it takes it, hops over, and puts it on a table.
If you would please have him open it and see if anything happens.
Okay. I need the 4 of you to roll a d20. Just a generic d20.
Flat check.
Resic. Resic.
Shit.
Make a charisma save. Ah, good. Okay. So look at some stuff here. I see. All right. Well, interesting. Isn't that something? Okay. So, the book opens, and a kind of soft at first, kind of like greenish glow, and then real powerful all of a sudden. You shield your eyes as it fills the room with this harsh green light. There's the noise or sound of kind of a rushing. You hear like something like whooshing through the air, perhaps. And then the sound fades and the light dies down, and you remove your hands, and nothing seems to have happened aside from that. Everyone's looking around. Mordain's like, "Oh goodness, perhaps we should have waited for safer conditions. I don't know what happened."
I cast my last detect magic to see if there's anything.
Residual.
Yeah, see what residuals around.
Something escaped and is sitting on a bookshelf.
That'd be cool.
Just a green owl perched on top of a bookshelf.
Ooh.
A spectral green owl.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, instead of who, it goes ooh.
Ooh.
No, go boo.
Okay. The book is still heavily necromantic.
Okay. Um, do I have an idea of what the lingering effect was?
You can roll Arcana again and hope to roll higher than last time.
Nope.
Nope.
Uh, does anything else in the room seem different?
Um, not that I can think of.
Like, there's no lingering effects on, like, Resic, for example?
Why would you think that?
No, I mean,
I mean, detect magic looking everywhere, right?
yeah.
No.
Okay, great. Then nothing seems out of the order. Well, that was,
Strange. Very strange.
Is the servitor okay, Mordain?
It's standing there like it opened the book and just lowered its arms. It seems fine. So, are you all right? And it turns around and waves.
is it okay to read the book now, do you?
Sure.
Mordain?
Yeah, I mean, it's already open. Whatever effect it had, probably already activated, right?
Yeah, that's true. Let's go
Something.
over and take a look, and I'll just keep my detect magic up. Just
Okay. Four of you, you're going over alone?
does
I'll
anyone
walk-
want to come
Yeah,
with?
I'll walk with him,
Okay.
and as I walk with him, I'm going to impulsively use divine sense.
Alrighty. You sense many undead.
Uh, anything from anywhere that's not a servitor.
Oh, nah.
All right.
Okay, so some of you approach the book.
Yeah, curious what it says.
Are you both reading it? Is just like us reading it? What are you doing here?
Lycos would be quite keen on reading.
Okay.
Does Uglo want to read it?
He's curious, but I think he's going to. I think he's going to let Lycus start reading it and interpret it a bit, and if it sounds interesting, he'll jump in.
Okay.
Okay. You head up there and you start to take a read. Best you can tell, these are like the insane ramblings of a madman. It spends, like the entire front page is just about the, like his descent into madness and how it was all caused by those bastards, those fiends, the ones that tied his shoelaces wrong. That kind of deal.
Right. Does it have a name on it?
It doesn't.
Okay, we're gonna try to read through it and make something intelligible about it. See if there's anything that's referenced in there, that like any big names or anything that's capitalized in a
Okay.
particular way.
Okay. Roll intelligence. No, it's like the more you read about this, the more you're certain that by the time the person was writing this book, they had completely lost their minds.
Weird. Then he'll relay that to Mordan.
Oh, that's disturbing.
Well, would you like to put this book away appropriate?
Well, it still has that necromantic aura. I suppose we should get it analyzed. I don't have the expertise myself, but perhaps Dr. Nightseed and tell us what the effect is and what it might have done and left here in the archive when it did that glow.
Yes. Well, I mean, we're going to go see her tomorrow anyway. Do you want us to take it with us tonight and then return it as soon as we speak with Knights?
No, again, it's not for lack of trust. It's just I fear letting dangerous books leave the archive. If you'd like to,
course.
I will call her here. No, well, she is busy. Perhaps you can come retrieve it tomorrow, and I will.
No.
N-
It's
no.
safest in our hands.
How so?
These books in here are not safe. Someone comes down and rips the pages out of them. I don't trust you that you can keep it safe in this archive tonight, especially knowing what went on today.
Mr.
We'll
Ugler,
take it to her
th-
tomorrow.
these books have been here and safely ensconced here for more years than you've been alive.
Not safely. Many of them have pages ripped out of them.
Yes, and many of them are damaged due to time and age.
And Ginra.
And Genra, come to
Genra.
think
Someone
of
is
it.
able to come in here undetected and destroy books. This is a book that
A goose
may
came in here
mean
and
something
destroyed
important
many
for
of
our
them, fully
investigation.
detected.
Lycus closes the book and then walks it over to Mordain and hands it to him.
Ugla is extremely betrayed. Like permanent character change betrayed there.
Lycus is.
He looks at Lycus and says, "Well, if you think that's best."
Fine.
That's exactly what I heard.
Okay.
You can feel Ugla's shift.
Hold on.
Agla, we'll talk when we get back up to the room.
Ugla doesn't respond.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, Mordain. Does anyone else have any other comments, questions, concerns?
No, that was wonderful. Thank you for all your help, Mordain. You were invaluable in our research and in helping us find that crazy, scary little nook. I'm sorry you got attacked. I hope the whiskey's pretty good. Hopefully, see you tomorrow.
Guys, we should really take that book.
What is that?
I would agree.
You wanted to take the book?
Yes, we need to take that book.
You know what? I'm a gnome.
Could we come to some sort of middle ground here? Maybe all of us, including Mr. Mordain,
We were
spend the night
hired
here?
by the dean very specifically because we were from the outside. If there's anything that we think might have anything to do with our investigation or something important as to what might be going on here, we can't trust anyone within the library to keep it safe. Or sorry, not the library. Anyone within the school to keep it safe. That's all. That's the only thing that scares me about it.
Roll,
No
roll
no
persuasion.
disrespect to you, Mr. Mordain. Okay.
He looks extremely hesitant, but with both like with Rezik piling on and only Lycus kind of agreeing with him, I suppose you were hired by the dean. Similarly, no offense, but I will inform him that you are taking an archive quality book outside of the archive for safekeeping.
We're not going anywhere tonight. You know our plans for tomorrow. It'll be safe.
Yes.
In fact, I'll sleep with it under my pillow.
I wouldn't advise that. Perhaps weird necromancy dreams.
Maybe I'll learn something.
Maybe. Or die.
You'll
You know,
die.
either one.
Or have your soul ripped out. One.
I need everyone to roll insight for unrelated reasons.
Now we all roll well.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. All right. He's obviously upset, but largely for reasons that you totally understand. He does not think it's a good idea for archive materials.
Oh
to leave
yeah,
the
he's
archive.
very passionate about the books. It's not for distrust to him.
Yeah. Other than that, though, he's tired after the adventure and the attack and then the traps and all that stuff. If y'all are done here, he'd like to rest.
We'll find our way out. Thank you.
Good evening.
Did he give Ugla the book?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. All right. See you tomorrow morning and get some good rest.
I will try.
And come find us if there's any lingering effects from the book explosion or the shade attack or anything.
I will send a message post haste. Okay. The four of you take the spiral spare up and back, make your way back to the lobby.
Ugla puts the book in his backpack
Sure.
before heading upstairs.
Ugla, I wanted to apologize for back there. I'm trying to play nice with everyone here at this academy so that we can do what we need to do without and potentially figure out what's going on with the fingers and other things going on rather than getting kicked out and losing a potential lead on those things.
Oh, absolutely. The job must come first, but we can't let anyone compromise that. I feel like the dean has given us carte blanche, and we need to make sure to make full use of it.
You do
sort of carte blanche.
You do realize that we can no longer trust that boy, and having this material near him is heightened risk, I would say.
Oh, our attendant?
Yes. I definitely don't trust him now that I know that there are no servitors that can do what he does.
You know, there's something very special about him, but I don't think it's something to be concerned about. His nature seems very genuine and affable.
That or
Sure, he's very inquisitive, but that doesn't make him or whoever is puppeting him not a threat.
Man, if somebody's puppeting him, then they know how to perfectly represent a small child.
We'll see.
If anything, I feel like he's an aberration or a calling out as to why you shouldn't be doing this with somebody's body.
Oh boy, I've struck a chord with Mr. Ugla again.
Mr.
Oh yeah,
Right.
y'all will see Ugla's plans for boy later.
Poor boy.
His necromantic rites. Hmm.
He showed him way too much sentience to let it be. He made him a tambourine. Y'all know Ugla feels real special about this poor little dude.
True. All right. So, is anyone doing anything before bed? It is you studied all day and actually up for 2 days straight. In fact,
Wow.
not without sleep. Like you studied, you went to bed. You studied, you went to bed.
Yeah.
oh,
No. You didn't study for a solid 40 hours. So
This isn't college.
it's 8 p.m. on this at the end of the second day. You're all exhausted, not the condition, but mentally exhausted from the studies, and then your debacle afterwards. But it is 8 p.m. You have a couple of hours before you kind of need to sleep.
Garrett's gonna
Like
go
it's
get
like
food.
it's
Gendra's getting food. Like
What'd
as
you
well.
say, James?
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Lycus is gonna work on Genra's ring next.
Gotcha.
Ugla is going to grab a quick snack and go back to talk to Boy again.
Okay.
I'm also gonna grab a quick snack.
And then go talk to boy.
No, no,
Okay.
I'm just gonna grab a quick snack and then go back to the room.
All right. Okay. Cool. You guys you got food, either dinner or snacks, and
Ugla's going to purposely find a bone-in fish if possible and keep the fish skeleton.
okay. They don't have any bone-in fish because this is a vegetarian society.
Oh yeah, not yeah.
Got you there,
This isn't where we were earlier.
Ooh.
God, even fish, yeah.
Even
I
fish.
suppose.
Said anymore, Ugla.
Yeah, I guess I don't even think of fish as meat anymore because of my own personal connections. Shit. He'll abandon that plan. He would have. I mean, obviously, Ugly in character would have never thought that there would possibly be fish here. He's actually has never had fish, so that wouldn't even make any sense.
Okay. So you head to the dining hall. You grab dinner at in varying capacities, and it sounds like you all head back to the.
Well, I'll give it one more shot. Is there anything with a structure inside of it that supports the outside of it, like a type
Does it
of
need to
vegetable
be
that has,
very hard, or like what are you
a
looking for?
vegetable that has like a hole?
You're looking for a
Or
bone,
I think
basically.
he's looking for a bunch of like
I mean, a
walnuts,
skeleton
something like that.
or like a hard innards, I
No,
guess.
there are no
So
vegetables
fruits
like
with
that.
pits?
Yeah,
Or a
yeah.
fruit,
I guess you could find something with a pit,
pomegranate or
like a
something.
large pit. But I
Oh,
mean,
man,
that's
I don't
that wouldn't
know.
be big,
Corn, kind of, right?
I guess. But it's really not even that hard.
Does it have to be something that was alive? Can't you just go to an anatomy class?
Maybe an apple core.
Do
Oh
you
my
It's kind of close.
again not very hard? Like if you're looking for something with some like real toughness, like we think of apple carts as hard because we don't want to chew through them. But if you were to like try and break one with your hands, it's not that hard. Which is
He's trying to represent a skeleton. It's a boy.
I see. You could just go to an anatomy lab,
That's what I was gonna say.
And find a small skeleton.
find a regular sized skeleton.
You can give the kid a parent.
I don't know about that. I was thinking of like some sort of like quick, clever idea that he was going to do while grabbing dinner. But
I mean,
maybe
you could get
it doesn't
like
work.
a dozen apples and mock up a stick figure out of cores.
I was thinking like there's like one full apple and then one apple that he's eaten down to the core. This is you, and this is everyone else.
Oh,
But I'm not sure that that's going to have the
Probably
intended.
not.
Yeah.
You probably look at it and just say apple.
So yeah, Ugly might ignore this.
Apple. All right. So you get dinner. The four of you head back to the apartment. Lycus begins working on the ring. Genra finds a juice box full of juice, and the other two of you are. Well, one of you's talking to Boy apparently.
Yeah, Ugly is gonna grab a map
A
of the
map.
school. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You need like you gonna get like a brochure because they don't really have like maps.
Yeah, I'm sure we have a brochure or something that we've been given to help us get around.
Sure.
He's gonna take it over to Boy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Boy, how are you?
Boy.
Yeah, you are, Boy. What is your mood?
Boy.
Yeah. Boy, happy?
Happy.
Boy, sad?
Sad.
Yeah. All right, cool. So I've got this brochure here, and it's got a full map of the school.
Read.
All these different sections. Yeah, you read it. How many different sections have you been to?
Read.
So this right here is a dormitory, right? Dorm.
Read. Dorm.
Yeah. And then this right here is classrooms.
Class.
Yeah. And then this is the dean's office.
Dean.
Yeah. This is the elevator.
Class.
Have you been in the elevator before?
Dean.
Have you met the dean?
Class.
What was that one lady's name? Darkreed?
Nightseed.
Nightseed.
Nightseed. I keep doing that.
Willow.
Yeah, I need to write this one down.
Darkreed?
Willow Darkreed. That's her.
Boy, have you met Professor Nightseed?
Mama.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have brothers or sisters?
Dean.
The dean? Interesting. Do you know how old you are?
Read.
Hmm. So, you've been to the elevator, you've met the dean, you've never been outside, right? Oh, you've been
He
outside. I
has
held you.
now. Yeah, you were like,
Yeah. Do you have any memories of eating?
read?
Can you read?
He toddles over to the table and picks up the two mostly spent crayons and just starts doodling on the table wood.
Ah, coloring.
Read.
No, no, that's coloring. And then Ugly goes over and looks at what he's doing.
Color.
Is there any rhyme or reason to what he's doing?
Nope.
Just random doodling as far as you can tell.
At the moment, he's got like a small nub of a yellow and an orange, and he's just got doing big broad strokes.
Do you want paper?
Color.
Or, I mean, you can color on the table. I guess I don't really care.
Sure, kid. Not my walls. Go ahead. Go nuts.
Have you met any other boys?
Boy.
Do you know the word servitor?
Boy.
Yeah. Boy is servitor?
Boy.
Have you met other servitors?
Boy.
You know, there's many other like you.
Boys.
Yeah. They just don't talk.
Question.
Read.
Yeah, they don't talk. They don't read. They're very boring. Do you think your mom made you special?
Boy.
Yeah. Maybe gave you a purpose?
Read.
Maybe.
Color.
Yes. To live life. I like you, boy.
Boy.
Question. Did I hear any of this?
You're out.
Are you there?
What? Yeah, I should be there.
You're in the apartment, but I don't know what you're doing. So sure, why not?
I was probably reading. I probably picked up some books and read at the table.
Okay.
But then you saw Ugla come in and grab a pamphlet, and you said, "What's he up to?" and followed him back and overheard all of that.
There you go.
So yeah,
Okay, I overheard.
if you wanted to hear it.
Who's dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets this real wistful look on his face.
Good question.
Night Seeds who?
It's his mom. She made him.
It's the first word that we've heard him not repeat.
Not necessarily. He said boy on his own, I think.
Mm-mm.
He chose boy.
No. Isaac said boy.
He chose it as a name though.
Mama was definitely unique.
But he said it first. That's true. Maybe that's the first. He said ball on his own. I said play, and he said
He's
ball.
been told.
He's done it. I've done it only a couple times. So, admittedly, at least once because I forgot I was supposed to be repeating you. But two others that I remember, I chose a word that was not said to me.
Right.
Was it choose?
Ugla, roll charisma. Well, that's not really fair. Roll insight.
I don't know. Charisma's better than insight, although they're not that different.
Yeah, but I'm trying to have you. I'm having you roll for artistic interpretation
Of what he's doing on the table.
Yeah. I'll give you charisma too. Why not? Oh, nice.
Nice.
They're the same. One's not better than the other. Liar.
One feels better.
Oh, okay. So your interpretation insight is pretty bad. You're not really sure what it is he's trying to draw, but your charisma is good. You get a feel for it. The color theory plays well into your mind. And even though he's down to the nubs of what crayons were given to him, it looks as though he's painting some sort of like happy scene. the orange and the yellow are probably some or like a sky, and there's then he's got like a white, and he's done a bunch of like dots above the orange and yellow, and then he's got a black, though it's on like a dark wood table, so it's really not doing anything. But he's drawing like a straight perpendicular line of black beneath the yellow and orange. For reference, I will draw it in exactly his skill level. Actually, good job, B.
Mm.
Nice.
Orange and yellows, and then grays will be the white.
It's a little white dots.
Yeah, dots. And then he's got, like I said, he's got a black, but it's on a brown background, so you really can't see it. But it looks like it. You know, the layering's bad here. It goes underneath the yellow and the orange.
I'm okay. I'm gonna see the yellow and orange and the little white dots coming off it. I'm gonna say, is that a fire?
Read?
So I'm gonna point out that draw picture is fire.
Road.
Road. Road to where?
Night.
Road to night. Oh, us road tonight?
Night Seed?
Read? Ball?
You think we should go to the road tonight?
Ball? Read?
Yeah. I mean,
Color.
road tonight. Why draw road tonight?
Ugla and Genra roll perception.
That. There we go.
Ooh.
Okay. Genra. Rezik has become suddenly silent. At some point during this conversation. He looks uncomfortable. Not like queasy, but like the subject matter makes him uncomfortable.
Genra was okay, so the rooms are kind of divided. So she was kind of just like peering over this whole time, just kind of like trying to figure out what was going on without intervening, but she sees Rezik's face change.
Mhm.
And she just is like, she steps into the doorway. Rezik, what? Are you okay? You look strange. Rezik?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Wow.
What was that you just rewinded? What was just
Rewinded?
said?
What
What
does
does that even
what does that
mean?
word mean?
What is, that's a word I've never heard before. What is that?
Go back a bit and what was he just talking about? Road tonight?
Yeah, does that mean something to you, Rezik?
No.
Road tonight?
Looked like it had an effect on you now that she does mention it. Sure you're feeling okay?
Yeah, I was just surprised. I'm fine.
Hmm. Boy,
Boy.
what this? And she gestures down at the drawing.
Color.
Of what?
Color.
Colors make up something.
Color. Read.
Close. Road?
Road.
Road to what?
Night.
Road to night.
Rezek looks fine now.
Yeah, that's what he drew, is road to night.
Hmm.
What does that mean, guys?
I'm not
Perhaps
sure.
there's a path to night. Genra's definitely not sure.
Boy, can you take us to something that can help us understand what you mean?
Ball.
Okay. Ugla's gonna go find his ball from the corner.
Okay.
Bring it to him.
Genra's gonna look at him and say, "Day," and point at the yellow and orange.
Color.
Color, and then she points down further at the almost unseeable black
Mhm.
night.
Road.
Road. And then she points back up. Night?
You pointing at the dots? Or the sky?
Well,
That's the
the
question.
sky.
If you're pointing at the yellow and orange, he says color.
And then she's gonna move up to one of the dots.
Night.
Night? Night, color, road.
Color. He points at his crayons.
Ugla hands him the ball.
Ball. He just drops the crayons, totally forgotten. Stands up, and throws it at Ugla.
Ugla catches it, tosses it back.
Begins to play catch.
Do you know anything about stars?
Beat. Boy.
Yeah. There's probably a window in this room, right?
There are windows in your apartment, yes.
Is there one in the specific dining room we're in right now?
Sure.
Okay. And it's nighttime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ugla's gonna take him. He's gonna catch the ball, and then while he's catching, he's gonna scoop up Boy in the other hand, and just hold him up. So he's looking out the window, and he's gonna say, "Night sky," and point at it.
You look out the window, and a little, almost unfortunately, you can actually see a storm front rolling in. There's actually not a lot of night sky visible. It's there. You can point like it's there. You can see the stars, and most of the moon is still visible.
Small patch.
But like,
Yeah.
you're noticing of course, Chekhov's guns reason. There's a storm coming.
Yes.
But so you say night sky. It goes night road.
Night road. In what way? Road. How can the sky be a road? I'm so confused.
Perhaps if you can fly, it is a road.
That's true.
Genra. You know what? Genra and Lycus. Lycus, you're not even in the room. That's just how bad this roll was. Lycus, you get a premonition in the middle of your foraging. But Genra, very present, having seen it the first time. Something about this conversation makes Rezek extremely uncomfortable.
Damn it, Rezek, something is going on here and I need to get to the bottom of it right now. Now, either you know what's going on or something is just happening and you're not aware of it. Now, tell me which one it is.
It's okay. It's okay. Rezek, we've been together a couple of years now. What does this mean? How can the sky be a road? I don't understand.
Maybe Night Seed. Maybe he's taking the premonition, or like the preface of the night, mixing with something that he learned for road, and it's. I don't know. The kid, he can't even talk.
But
What do
what's
you mean?
bothering you so much? Why? If he's just blabbering, then why is it bothering you so
You
deep?
are having a visceral reaction to these words that he's speaking, and we must know why. You have.
I don't
Please.
know why. I don't know what you want. I didn't even know I was doing anything.
That's
Mm.
exactly what we need to know.
Yeah. That can be
You
dangerous.
are having a reaction that you're unaware of. Now, you tell me, do you have any inkling of where you've seen these words Night Road together ever? Did you have a vision of a night road? Did you recall any sort of dream? Words in a book? Did Craig inspire you about a night road? Something has to be adding up here.
Can Lycus come back into the room?
Lycus, you've heard these the outbursts, and you can hear, like, for some reason you can hear in Rezik's voice that something's wrong. You can come back into the room, but it will interrupt your foraging process.
He'll just keep listening for now while he keeps etching.
Okay.
I have a bad feeling about all this.
Ma-
I think we need to go see Nightseed tonight.
It
So the only thing I could think of, guys, is maybe I had a dream that I can't really remember, or something. It's
What do you think, boy? Do you want to see Nightseed tonight?
Mama.
Yeah.
Night Road, Night Seed.
Ball.
We'll bring the ball.
Lycus rolls a ball out of the forge.
A new
Creepy.
ball shows up.
It appears out of nowhere.
All right. Yeah, I have a strange feeling about all this. I really do think we need to see Nightseed tonight. I intend to take Boy to her.
I think that's a wise idea, and I think we need to be cautious about Rezik. And she says this right in front of him.
cautious about me. Why?
Yeah.
There's something going on with you, and you don't know what it is, so we must proceed with caution in case something else happens and you outburst or something.
What do you mean? Like, what kind of
He-
outburst?
If we're getting closer to Night Seed or Night Road, I fear that your reactions will grow stronger.
All right.
A road appears in the night. The shadow on the ring in the light of the forge says something in particular. Give the boy his ball, and let it all roll to where it needs to progress to.
Lycus, the oracle, speaketh from the other room.
Ooh.
Huh?
What?
Okay.
Huh?
Ugla, super confused, sees the ball that's rolled into the room, grabs it, hands it to Boy.
Boy, roll the ball. Where do you want? We'll follow along.
He rolls it back to Ugla.
Hmm.
Wait a minute, y'all. Hold on. Y'all freaked about me making faces, but this guy spouts something off. Like, what?
I mean, it is Lycus. He has a very inquisitive mind. Probably
He
not.
gets a pass, but I don't. I make weird
No,
faces, and
because
y'all
you
lose
don't
your
know what you're
stuff.
doing. He knows at least what he's saying.
Oh yeah? What'd you just say, Lycus?
Oh, I suppose I could repeat it. And he repeats it word for word.
Yeah. Thanks to his keen mind
Perfect
perk, he
memory.
knows exactly what he said and how it sounded.
Bingo.
See?
Oh, well, I stand corrected.
Well,
Do you even know the faces in which you were making, Rezik? Go ahead.
I
repeat
don't
them
have a
for
mirror
us.
in front of me. How could I see my own faces I were making?
Well, I mean, you should be able to tell when you're grimacing or something.
here's the difference. Lycus has strange dreams and visions regularly. Rezik, I know you very well. There isn't that much that shakes you. So just talking about a road in the night sky, it seems strange for that to affect you. That's all.
Indeed, I think we should speed this up and get out to Nightseed right now, and we must demand that we see her. I know these are not her office hours, Lively, but so be it. This is a
No.
very important matter.
Yeah, there's something afoot tonight. I don't feel like sleeping. Let's go find her. Lycus, would you like to come along?
Oh, yes. Let me just put all these down real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
He puts all of his things away, puts the ring aside while he's at.
All right, boy, we're gonna go visit Nightseed. Let's go see your mom.
Unless you pick him up, he's not coming.
Yep, I'm carrying him along.
Okay.
I'll put him up on my shoulder.
All right. He feels oddly light.
Very light. Yeah.
Okay. You guys head for the elevator. Where are you going?
Well, so we're in the
Faculty
dormitory.
quarters.
Faculty residences.
Okay.
He's gonna, while we're in the elevator, boy, this is an elevator. It takes you everywhere you need to go. He's gonna continue to try and explain as many concepts to him as he can.
Okay.
Is the boy making any faces or moving at all?
I mean, in general, he doesn't really make faces. Like his natural state is just kind of blank as far as the facial expression goes. So not really, but his feet are doing their characteristic little toddle. He's kicking him on the shoulder.
Okay.
Okay. You head up to faculty quarters.
Step out of the elevator, and what do we see?
A long hallway that looks very much like your own dormitory section.
Are there names posted on any of the rooms?
Just numbers.
Is there anyone out and about? I guess I'll start heading over towards the dining room or common area and see if I can spot anyone.
It's like 9:30, so reasonably late, especially for older people. If you wander around for a while, you'll find a communal space. There's tables
Right.
and small fridge and like a coffee dispenser, coffee pot or something. But inside you see a single servitor standing kind of motionlessly.
Ah, perfect. I'll look at Lycus. Lycus, I know we couldn't do it earlier. I guess I'll try. Servitor, can you take us to Professor Nightseed's room?
It doesn't move.
Lycus, by studying Mordain earlier, were you able to pick up on how he might be commanding these? Or boy,
It's
could you ask
some
him
sort
to
of-
take us to Professor Nightseed?
You really asking boy to ask somebody?
Yeah.
Question. Boy.
Boy, look at that servitor and say Nightseed.
Boy.
Say mom.
Mama.
Does it do anything?
No.
Can you say night?
Night.
Boy, can you take us to Mama?
Boy.
Go ahead. Roll
Ah.
your ball to Mama.
So he sets boy down and gives him the ball.
He rolls it at Ugla.
Hmm.
Aw.
I don't think he's been here before, guys. So he's gonna get right up on the servitor with boy. And he's say, boy, say night.
Night.
Now say seed.
Boy.
Seed.
Mama.
Seed.
Read.
Seed. Like you grow a plant from.
Color.
Seed. Sea.
Color.
The sea, the ocean.
Read.
I don't think I can get this to work.
You want to just try and go knock on a door?
I mean, we can do that, but it's going to be a bit weird. I was hoping we could get the servitor to do it.
So is us knocking on Nightseed's door at this time of night.
That's acceptably weird, though. It's a bit of a commotion if we go for someone else. I wish there had been somebody out and about.
What?
Oh.
We don't know where we're going. Just
Hang
ask.
on, guys.
We just need to
guys,
ask for
I might
directions.
have it. I might have it. He puts
Watch
boy
this.
back on his shoulder. He goes over to the fridge, opens it up, and just glances. Does anything say Night Seed on it with like a with like a number attached to it or anything?
No.
Oh my god.
That's clever, but no.
That was good.
They don't have fridges, remember? They had like a little magic
Yeah.
cooler box at best.
Mm. And maybe in the cutlery closet, is there anything with Night Seed in a room
There's
number?
no cutlery closet
hopeless.
either. They have talents.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna have pull out um a little sky metal ball bearing,
Okay.
and I'm going to tap it with my hammer, and so it has the words "Return to Professor Nightseed," and hand it to the.
You're gonna hand it to
Mm.
the servitor, you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
Clever.
It still doesn't move.
I take it back.
Okay.
All right, let's just ask somebody. This is a bit silly. I'm going to step out into the hallway and listen and hear if I can hear noise of some kind coming from any of the rooms.
Sure. Roll perception. You have to wander around for a while, but eventually you'll find one. Yeah.
Okay, and there's like light coming out of the door.
Yeah, you see a little light coming from beneath, and you hear I don't know, a soft singing, not a good singing, but a soft singing.
That's fine. I'll just give a knock on the door, like a normal knock, not heavy or soft.
Sure. The singing abruptly ends, and just a moment.
Yes, sir.
Later, a few minutes later, a man comes in with like a heavy bathrobe on. It's awful late at night, and you don't look like students or teachers. And why? What can I do for you? Why are you even in here?
I'm so sorry to bother you
Who
at
are
this
you?
time of night. We're seeking Professor Nightseed, and it may be an urgent matter. We are
Who are you?
investigators enlisted under the dean.
Investigators. Do you have I don't know, a badge of some kind?
Well, we have our servitor, Boy.
All right. You've stolen a servitor so far. Do you have badges?
I believe we each have badges, yes. And then Ugla's going to go pull it out.
Okay.
We
Oh,
all,
research assistants. I see. Well, okay. I guess the dean did tell us that some researchers might be around the university, sitting on classes. You're looking for who?
Professor Nightseed.
Oh, I see. I mean, it's late. I'd feel bad, letting you barge in on the woman at this hour.
I'm afraid we can't talk about what it concerns.
I think we're just gonna knock. We're not gonna just try and go in.
please, it is an urgent matter. If we don't attend to it now, great
Calamity.
calamity could occur.
Mm.
Oh, if it's a calamitous occasion, yes, of course. Her apartment is number 18.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening. Our apologies for the interruption.
She may not be there. Nightseed tends to do late nights on her studies, but that she might be.
Oh,
Does she have an office?
Of course.
right.
Where would that be?
I'm trying to go check book.
Yeah, Ugla will pull out the pamphlet.
In the main building, up in the the tenured professor's offices, there's a small round area where all of our offices are.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, let's go.
Thank
check
you
in.
so much.
Good
Have a good
night.
evening. So yeah, we'll head for 18 first.
Okay, we head over to 18.
On the way to 18, Ugla remembers 418.
Yes.
Flashback.
Dum dum dum. Okay, so you head to 18. What do you do?
Knock, knock, knock. Professor Nightseed, are you in?
Okay. A moment goes by, and yes, I am in.
Oh, excellent. we're a group of research assistants under the dean, and I apologize for contacting you this late at night. But do you have a moment to speak with us?
Oh, it's quite late. Could it wait until the morning?
I've just got the strangest feeling that it might not be able to wait till the morning.
Oh,
We won't take up too much of your time.
could I ask what this pertains to?
Not out
Uh,
here. We must do this in private. I'm so sorry, but it must be that way.
our investigation on behalf of the dean.
I see. I see. Well, if needs must. Would you like tea?
That would be lovely. Thank you.
Of course.
Well, I will make myself presentable and put the tea kettle on.
Thank you.
A couple of minutes pass, and eventually the door opens, and I wonder if I uploaded her picture. I think I did. Yeah, I did. Oh, that's the draw tool still. Pow. Okay. Professor Nightseed. She
Aw.
is an older peacock,
Yep.
older peahen rather. Uh, she looks to be probably in the the latter portions of her life, the latter third of it or so. Um, obviously wizened, whereas it has like the remnants of makeup on her face, not quite the vibrant red you see here. Um, but it's probably enhancing what was once actual like red feathers that gave her this kind of striking look. Um, she's got similar to the last guy, a large, comfortable looking bathrobe on. Hers, like here in the picture, has some embroidery, some like little skulls, a couple of bones. It's a little macabre, but otherwise harmless. And good evening. I am Doctor or Professor Nightseed. Um, please come in.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Apologies again for barging in this late.
I suppose it's no trouble. Um, I am something of a night owl. Ha ha ha.
Hardwood grins a little.
We have a couple of matters that need your attention. They are necromancy related, and it appears that something has affected our friend here, and she points over to Razek, and we believe it is all related somehow. So, if you don't mind, would you like to take a seat and we can explain it to you and show you what we have?
Oh, I suppose. What is it you've got?
Well, firstly, our little servitor here, he's going to point up at Boy. Uh, did you make him any different than the others?
Oh, I don't create the servitors. That's a ritual that's been passed down. I only perform their maintenance and instill any tasks that they need.
Oh, it's just strange that this one talks and the others we've come across have not.
It talks.
Yes, he even named himself Boy.
Boy, oh my goodness, that's fascinating.
Oh,
Yeah, it's incredible. I thought it a bit strange when when we first got here, but upon doing our research in the library and realizing the shock on Mordane's face when we described how ours was acting, we knew there was something afoot. So I've talked to him a bit. He calls you his mom, which is very endearing and pretty cute.
She looks
Uh,
she looks like upset and disturbed.
yeah. And he drew us a picture tonight. Um, of the night sky and a dark road to the sky.
It speaks and it draws.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, and it
yes.
plays ball. It behaves as a child.
Uh, uh, that shouldn't be possible. The servitors are skeletal undead,
with a very limited instruction set.
This one has sentience of a sort.
Oh, that's troubling.
Show her.
What?
I just say show her.
Oh yeah, his name's Boy. He likes to color. I made him a tambourine. He played a bit. We like to play ball.
What?
He's very, very kind, and as any small child you might imagine would be.
Yes, and he was assigned to our area when we first arrived.
That's very troubling. Can you show this to me? Not that I don't believe you, but
Oh, of
pranks
course,
and all.
of course. I'm gonna set Boy down, and she sees him dawdling his feet, right?
Yeah, but like small things like moving feet and speaking are very different.
Yeah. And she heard him say, "Boy."
Yeah.
So, like, Boy, can we play ball a bit?
Ball?
And so I'll set him down, hand him the ball, take a couple steps back,
Yeah. He
Boy?
tosses the ball.
and I'll catch it.
Professor Nightseed. Boy, Professor Nightseed.
Mama.
Yes.
She's like
Congratulations.
I have no children.
Looks like you have one.
I don't think so. This servitor must be defective. I think
Before you finish this sentence, if there's anything wrong with him, I'd like to request that he come along with us.
Why is that?
I've grown quite attached to him, having never had any children myself, and enjoy his company. It would pain me for anything to happen to him.
That can't be allowed. All servitors are property of the university.
Let's say the dean were to allow it.
I suppose that's within his rights, but he would only make it so far as perhaps 200 feet beyond the trunk before falling over.
Yeah, so the magic would cease and he would disperse, right?
Right, yes.
So that makes sense if he's a normal servitor, but he doesn't
Right.
seem like he is.
You're true, but his life energies are still bound to the ritual, surely.
I mean,
Has
Are you willing to test that out, Ugla?
I think I would sooner test that than have him be destroyed.
do you guys ever have any issues like this ever? Is this like kind of a rare oddity that happens every once in a while? Or
Never. Not in all my years as the theoretical necromancy teacher has this ever occurred.
I somewhat related to this. We found a book down in the archives that had a strong necromantic effect tied to essence. That when a knight rode, does that mean anything?
Night Road? Yes, I suppose it does. My late father's name was Night Road.
I see.
Night Road to the Sky?
Mortius Night Road.
Mortius, as in Morty?
No. Professor Mortius is a unrelated accident.
No.
I see. Well, all right. So Night Road, and what did your, out of curiosity, the book was somewhat rambling in its with regards to its content, but it had a strong effect that discharged, that was tied to essence. What was the, if I may, what is the potential cause of death or afflictions that your father had towards the end of his life?
My father, well, to be honest with you, he vanished late in his years and was never found.
Did he like whiskey?
I suppose in the same capacity that all older gentlemen are fond of whiskey.
Did he work at the avium?
Yes, he was a tenured professor when I was a child.
And did he have a copy of the nice and accurate prophecies of Misa
Miriam.
Miriam?
I
Miriam.
couldn't say. I mean, unfortunately, he died a little early, I suppose. I mean, he was still an old man, but not quite at the end of his years, and or died. I said, vanished. Um, but his library, I couldn't say. Some of his books I have here, but I'm sure nowhere near his total collection.
Of course. And was he in theoretical necromancy as well?
Yes, yes, that's why I inherited the
Hmm.
proclivities.
The disposition for it.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
I see.
Lycus, maybe you should show her the book.
I. All right. And Lycus goes over to Ugla's
Backpack.
satchel and pull.
Okay. You snag it out of there.
Yep.
Very carefully.
It seems to have been written in the one's later years with some of the matters internal to it. The mind of whoever wrote it was quite gone by that point. Hi, Mutual.
He'll be back eventually with food, hopefully.
Ooh.
Uh, so, Night Road. It, hmm. If
You want me
here
to
you
look at
are.
that?
Be very careful with it. When we opened it, we had a servitor open it in the library, and there was just this great flash of green light.
Oh, this is that one. I see.
That
But
one?
no, he said earlier that you had this a necromantic tome.
Yes. This is the tome itself.
Okay. Well, I suppose I mean, necromancy is my specialty, I suppose. And she still looks a little afraid.
Do you know a safe way to disarm it before opening it?
That will depend on what it is or does. And she casts detect magic. You see her eyes, glow a little bit, and she looks at it. Oh wow, quite the aura. I see. Well, perhaps you've already triggered it, and I, I, well, I suppose I recognize some of the energies here, though I don't think it's a spell I'm capable of. Uh, some sort of, well, I mean, it's necromancy, so of course it's some sort of soul or death or life, something like that. And she
Would that be related to Road to Night? And Genra looks over at Rezik.
Rezik seems, like very focused on what's happening, but he doesn't make an upset face or anything.
Damn it.
Um, she goes, it could be. I mean, my father was an accomplished theoretical necromancer. It was him in his prodigious youth who designed the servitor ritual.
Oh.
Well, that's
He's
interesting.
gonna look at boy. Hey boy. Mortius?
Papa.
Ah, there we go.
Okay.
And then he's gonna
Huh.
may I see that book for a moment?
She's like, as you say that, she's got a stick in her, like a long stick, and she's opening the cover. What was that? Opens it. Nothing happens.
Hmm. Okay.
Do any of those writings seem familiar to you? Maybe the actual handwriting or the context of what they're saying?
Um, she like so if Ugla doesn't go on with something like repeating himself, then she'll go back. She'll read it.
Oh, he just called your dad Papa. I was wondering if maybe he knew something about the book as well.
Oh, I can't think of why a servitor would know anything. I suppose. They aren't supposed to have memories.
I can't help but feel that something is pulling all of these strings together around us. Between you, this book, our little guy, there's got to be more to this.
Oh, I don't
Were
I
your
don't know
father's
anything
bones
about that.
made?
Ugla,
Ugla.
boy, what's in that book?
Read?
Yeah, if we read that, what will we learn?
Read.
All right, let's read it.
I mean, you already read it. The Ravings of a Madman.
Yeah.
Well, he nods at Nightseed.
Nightseed? Okay.
Yeah, see if you can make anything of it. We couldn't really get too much out of it earlier.
All right.
Aside from Lycus's quote bearing a direct resemblance to what our boy drew on a table and seemed to recite in and of himself.
Oh, well, perhaps you have a diviner among you, Mr. Lycus, and maybe you should see the
Oh.
divinations professor.
Oh, I intend to later. I'm more of an artificer.
Oh, I see, a crafter. Interesting. She turns to the book and it's just odd, I suppose. A lot of peculiar things. She, thumbs through a couple pages and reads some more and keeps going. And it seems to start out rather strange and just get more strange by the page. And here at the end, it's just scribbles and nothing more. I don't. I don't know
What
that.
type of scribbles?
I mean literal scribbles. She like picks
Yes.
up the book and points it at you guys. It's like somebody had just taken a pen and was going dooba 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 doo dooba 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 doo.
Somebody with no brain was still trying to write.
Yeah.
Does putting two and two together, Randy, does that bear any resemblance to the things that Boy has written?
Right.
No, boys' drawings were more akin to
Okay.
a young child's attempt at art. This is more like someone slowly losing their mental faculties.
Got it.
Um, she sets it back down and goes about studying like the earlier pages of the book, and then just kind of like lifts it up and turns it sideways and just kind of is wiggling it all around, taking a long look. And well, I'm not sure that the writings are irrelevant. To be honest, some wizards are tricky, I guess. They like to leave traps, of course, but not just dangerous ones, also tricky ones. Like a book full of nonsense to make people think it's useful. Maybe this is one of those or something. Let's take a long look here.
Ugla's gonna study that sentence very carefully and,
Okay.
and roll insight on it.
Okay. Seems
Man,
legit.
I've had the worst insight rolls this game.
She takes a long look and like flips pages back and forth, and well, every now and then there is what looks to be a very small rune amongst the ravings. Maybe that's what's binding the spell in here. And I think it's got something to do with some sort of soul magic, but that's really not narrowing it down a lot with necromancy.
Are you saying that a soul could have escaped this book, perhaps?
Among many other options, it could house a soul. It could even just be like the portrayal of a soul's essence. I mean, necromancy has many strange esoteric uses.
Mm-hmm. So, is there you find these hidden runes in here? Is it someone? Did someone? Is there a hidden page?
I imagine with sufficient time I could construct the full set of runes, but even then, I still believe that the spell itself is beyond me. I'm not sure I'd be able to decipher them.
Have you ever heard of someone being attacked by their very shadow?
Oh yes, yes. The shadows are a malevolent undead that come out of one's own shade and attack the nearest person or thing. Normally, the person who casts said shadow.
Yeah. Earlier today, we were all attacked by our shadows while researching in the library.
Oh goodness.
Mordain claims he was attacked by one as well, but it didn't seem to try to kill him as ours did. It was dragging him towards what we later discovered was a secret room or a
Where this
long
was
hallway.
found.
Where we
Yeah, the
found
long hallway
this.
where we found this book.
Oh my goodness. Well, that is several disturbing pieces of a tale. Attacked by shadows. Wow. Inside the school. I mean, there are a variety of barriers around the avium. I would not imagine that anything coming from outside could get in like that. That's troubling. Um,
What do you know about Mordain?
Professor Mordain has been here almost as long as and I only because I was born in the avium. He's well into his elderly years, and he's a nice man. He's been the archive keeper for longer than I've been a professor, and knows those bookshelves like the back of his hand.
So Ugla's going to look at her real closely and,
Mhm.
and just like try and pick up any teeny tiny line or twitch on her face that moves when he asks this question.
Right.
Is he going to say, "Do you think any of this might have anything to do with the disappearance of the Necronomicon Ex Corvus?"
And then he rolls insight.
Oh, thank you. Finally.
I don't know anything about that. I checked it out a while back, but I returned it. She's not telling the whole truth.
Ah, are you sure you returned it?
I certainly did. That part is true.
And there's no facts that you're leaving out of this that Mordain may have told us about?
I don't know why Mordain would be telling you anything about my business, but I definitely checked out that book and returned it.
And at some point, it went missing after that.
If that's the case, it was not my doing. I have no further need of that tome. I took
And
all
you
the
have-
notes I needed.
Where
And
did
you
you
have-
return it to?
The archive.
Ah, okay.
But you did check it out.
Yes, and returned it.
And that
that's
was
fair.
how
And
long
you
ago?
A few weeks.
and you have no clue where it may have ended up, or who
No.
might have taken it, or anyone else has mentioned it.
I took all the notes out of it that I needed, and none of my students are so advanced that they would either have access to the archive or need the contents of such a dangerous tome.
Right, which is why it's so troubling for it to go missing. Can you think of anyone you may have crossed that might have any interest in it?
I don't think so. To be honest, I mean, I know I'm a little quirky, but don't have any enemies here in the avium. My students are few, and my relationship with the professors is arm's length but friendly.
And as you said, you'd have no reason to steal it. You already got all the notes that you needed from it, right?
Correct.
And you could always check it out from the library anytime you needed it.
Precisely.
So, for someone to steal it, they must have either not had access to it or not have been from the avium themselves.
Correct, but entering the avium without permission is especially difficult.
So, it must have been someone from within the avium then.
Yes, that stands to reason.
And so, your entire timeline is just you getting the book, you having possession of the book the entire time that you took notes, and then you returning it. And
Ye-
beyond that, you know nothing.
To my knowledge, yes, I had it for maybe 36 hours and returned the book.
could we ask a very well, it's a little bit prying question, I'll admit it, but I assure you it's all out of care for wanting to make sure that nothing occurs that we could have prevented. What notes did you happen to take from that?
Oh, well, my own personal research. Nothing of concern. This is what she's been trying to avoid, Ugla.
What is that in which you're researching?
Oh, I've been spending my life outside of theoretical necromancy, attempting to improve the quality of the servitor's capacity for performing tasks.
Ah, perfect. Have you muddled any rituals or any oddities that might have affected our little guy?
No, I've had no success.
That you know of. Maybe you did have some success.
Improve.
Sorry.
That last line, straight up lie, Ugla.
Uh, are you sure you haven't had any success?
Yes, and I don't appreciate being questioned by strangers.
We are not strangers. We are appointed research
You're strangers to me.
investigators. Yes, but with right to be here.
That's very all well and good. It doesn't mean I have to appreciate it.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I suppose when you get
Settle down,
hostile,
please.
it's
We're all
definitely
friends here
needed.
and on the same team.
Yeah, telling people calm down. That'll work.
Always helps.
You did raise your tone, madam.
Yes, because I'm being questioned
Hmm.
as if my integrity is up for
No,
questioning.
no. Nothing that we say here tonight will leave this room. This is between us and you. The only thing our greater mission is to figure out why there are pieces of books going disappearing, why there's information disappearing from people's minds, what sort of secret is being suppressed. That's what we're
Or
after. You're
perhaps the better question for her is why would you want to change the servitors?
your individual dealings are do not seem to be of any greater regard as far as our larger mission goes. It may be able to connect us to pieces that might help us with that. So if you have anything that might be frowned upon, looked down upon by the avium, that you can tell us in our line of questioning, feel free to say it. And we will respect your privacy
Roll
as we respect
persuasion.
your research and your help. Ah, fuck.
General rolls intimidation.
Oh
Holy shit.
Jesus! So Ugla is
They
trying.
counteract.
Ugla's trying to mediate here. Genra's getting all up in arms there, and Ugla is trying to mediate. Like, no, it's fine. We'll respect your privacy, but it's not going well. Neither of the women are listening to him anymore. But Genra is looking very confrontational, and she says, "I have not modified any of the servitors outside of their parameters. My experiments are with the intention of improving their capacity to perform tasks and the complexity of those tasks and um
Cameron's definitely gonna ask what those tasks are.
hold on, yeah. And I have and I have had very minimal success only in improving their dexterity to the point at which they can manipulate objects better as opposed to only lifting and lowering things. She looks a little like, all right. So Ugla with his big insight vision on, still going. Parts of that were not true. She definitely has done more experiments than those things. That latter part is true. She has had that amount of success.
Oh, like tossing a ball.
Sure, among other tasks like carrying fine, like like breakable objects.
Right, or restocking apple juice. These are
Yes.
useful and essential duties, and it seems to be working very well. There's no need to hide these things. It's okay.
I'm not hiding those
No.
things.
So you didn't experiment on this little dude. It just happened on its own.
Look, all of the servitors look exactly alike. How could I possibly know if I have experimented on that one?
Oh, I suppose that's true.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Would you say one of the tasks has the ability to rip and tear things, perhaps?
Until it's done? That's a Doom reference for all of you old-timey FPS
Yeah.
gamers.
So Ugla is not aware of this reference or the world of Doom and looks very disturbed.
She doesn't say that. She goes, rip and tear? I suppose they could, like, tear paper or soft bread?
Yes, indeed, they could do all of that, and they can carry things. Correct?
Yes. They don't speak. They don't
No,
intuit thoughts.
there's no need to
Yeah.
speak when you're just taking menial tasks and doing what your mama tells.
I'm
I
no
mean,
one's mother. Hello, dog.
I'm sure there was no intention of that, but you do seem to have instilled some manner of sentience into this one.
My raised tone has disturbed the dog.
I have a compromise. How
What is
about you help us convince the dean to let us take Boy with us when we leave, and you provide some way of powering him or providing him with essence?
What was the-
Maybe
Where
a
was the
sp-
compromise in that? You just asked for something.
hang on. And our side of the bargain is we don't mention anything that we've learned here.
I have nothing to hide. She has things to hide. I don't care if you mention any of this. She does.
Well, then, are you sure? I mean, it kind of feels like you might get kicked out if you were conducting secret experiments.
We have a due diligence to be honest to the dean. And if we cannot say that we can do that, then we might as well just leave. So we are not going to say that. We are not going to just let her spew away whatever she wants to say and then leave this room and forget about it. We will not do that. We have a duty and we are here to provide that duty.
I just feel
Hold
like if you've created sentience, you have a duty to it to maintain it. And we intend to take Boy with us, raise him as our own, but he needs your help. Some way of keeping his life force going beyond the avium.
In the circle lies the seed, but only once you've done the deed. Also be sure to have a lean breakfast.
Yeah.
How about
Seed. The night seed. 18.
418. Oh.
Never mind.
Yes, Rezek.
so? How about don't mention any things that she's not trying to hide, and we get what we want.
Right. That's the bargain I'm proposing.
Yeah. So, do you want to do that,
You
Professor?
help us leave with Boy, keep him alive. We say nothing of your experiments. And if anything, only speak to your kindness and generosity in helping us with our investigation. And in the course of our investigation, if any small bits of it do tie back to you or anything that you've done, maybe we leave those parts out.
Okay. She stands there, stone-faced, righteous indignation, glaring at Genra, and little
Claire's back.
little tears begin to form at the bottom of her eyes, and she breaks down. Fine. I'm sorry. I have performed other experiments. I am trying to improve their functionality. I truly am, and I have succeeded in some cases, but my experiments would be frowned upon. Necromancy is supposed to be theoretical, and how can one have theory without practice? Oh, my headphones just died. I'll be right back.
Okay.
His headphones died while he was talking about necromancy.
Hmm. He's
But
bringing
they're
it back to life.
Yeah.
Sentient.
Practical headphone necromancy.
I mean, it's what we're essentially doing. We're bringing it back to life. Right? Powering them.
Food.
Ooh. What's for dinner? Ball.
Ball.
Yes.
We can't hear you.
I told them that you guys said hi.
Oh, hi.
Yes.
What's for dinner?
Hi.
Also, it's spaghetti. And there's the Texas toast.
Spaghetti.
Baguette.
Yes. Damn it! Now I realize he didn't cut my noodles because I'm a child and I must have them cut.
You can't twirl them up for yourself.
I guess I'm gonna have to twirl them up for myself.
Oh no!
Oh,
I'm so
no.
sorry.
This is the
cruel.
worst.
Today was going so
Beautiful
well until that
punishment.
moment.
All right. She breaks down. She apologizes. She said she's been performing other things. I don't know what else to say. I didn't take the book, if that's what you're trying to find out. I don't think I know anything about what you're looking for. You can't take the boy. There's no way he will make it outside of the grounds. I'm sorry. Please don't tell anyone.
There's no way of sustaining his essence. Maybe
No, the all of the servitors are tied to the ritual.
maybe casting the ritual on a stone or something smaller.
It requires an entire room.
Do you have such a room?
Well, yes, of course. That's how the ritual is here.
And it's just constantly going.
Yes, it's one of my tasks is maintaining.
And others have access to it.
No, it's here in my quarters, and only the professor of theoretical necromancy and the dean know of its existence.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you known the dean?
Oh, well, most of my life, I suppose. As I mentioned, I was born here, and he became the dean sometime during my childhood.
Was your father still alive when he became the dean?
I think so.
Interesting. I do see some commonality between all of these things, and
I have
that is the dean.
A very strange question. Have you ever shaken the dean's hand?
Yes, many times. Oh, you think he's a servitor? No.
Why would you say that?
Because they're illusory.
I mean, I just asked you if you'd ever shaken his hand. I didn't say anything about him being a servitor.
Right, but why else would it be a question of shaking someone's hand if not that they didn't have a hand?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's pretty strange that you connected it to servitors that quickly.
Oh, well, servitors are a large portion of my life.
All right, I'm going to look over at Boy. Hey, Boy, what do you think of the dean?
Dean.
Ah, yes. What do we have here? Nightseed?
Mama.
Mortius?
Papa.
Dean?
Dean.
You said brother earlier.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't think I did.
Mm-mm.
I said, do you have any brothers? And you said Dean.
Oh, probably not a related word, just one of the words
so
he
when
knows.
she immediately is just like, you think he's a servitor? And it's like, oh my God, he's a servitor. No, that would be silly for him to be a servitor. Just starting to wonder what other sort of magic might be afoot here. I'm going to retcon most of what I just said there.
Okay, you don't say the
in
brother
favor
thing.
of that sentence.
Okay.
I do see some commonalities. I think the dean is involved, and I find it very suspicious that he would like to have us here searching for clues about what his happenings are, unless he decided somewhere along the line that he wanted us dead. That's my honest opinion. Take it as you wish. Do you know of any enemies that the dean has?
No, the dean is probably one of our most liked, managers or deans in recorded history. He's done great things for the Avium.
Yes, and typically those who are most liked are also those most unliked by some, out of spite or jealousy.
I suppose, but I can't think of any. No, none of the professors are really interested in the dean's position. Most of us are here because we either enjoy teaching or research. The dean gets to do neither.
Tell me, are there other staff or custodians?
Largely the servitors.
Right.
I mean, the basis for our hiring by the dean was a dream that he had at the carnival.
Oh, a carnival, you say?
Yeah, there was a circus of dreams outside for a while, and the dean said that that was the wish that he made, and
Oh,
we showed up the next day.
well, that's something.
Yeah,
Well, perhaps
a bit more
you should talk.
divination fun.
Perhaps you should talk to the dean, or maybe there is something to Mordain. I mean, like I said, I like the man. I don't have any reason to suspect him, but if all of these oddities are centered around the archive, then he's kind of the only one who should know anything or everything about it, right?
One would think. He seemed fairly upright in our dealings earlier, and he was genuinely very tired and disturbed by the events that took place earlier. So, if he is involved, I'm not sure if he's masterminding it, but
You know,
yeah, maybe he's not telling the whole truth.
all this talk has reminded me of something. There's some weeks back, before I even borrowed the Necronomicon, I was speaking to Mordain just over a polite snack at a coffee, about the varieties of undead. It seemed more entirely academic. I really thought nothing of it and didn't really share anything that might be considered dangerous. But I suppose it is the first and only time that Mordain has asked me about necromancy.
He did say he dabbles lightly in dark magic, just out of curiosity.
Oh, well, I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. If you're a wizard, you've dabbled. I mean, we were all children once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe he knows a bit more about the disappearance of that book than he's letting on.
It
You know, one other thing that's just been bouncing around in the back of my head for the last month or so, I suppose, maybe longer, is do you know anything about what might cause a curse like this? And he takes off his glove and shows her his black hand.
She gets all sorts of fascinated. Ooh, curses. Oh, I must say I don't spend much time studying curses, but again, one dabbles. And she like grabs your hand and kind of roughly moves it all about and pokes it and casts
it's
it.
a it seems to be a matter where the sugar in one's blood doesn't make it to certain extremities,
Oh, well,
and deadens them.
that does seem something like a necromantic effect, doesn't it? A
Yeah,
reduction of the life of the body in some capacity. Interesting,
reduction.
interesting. Oh, well, it's too bad you don't want to lose a finger, do you?
Actually, Rezik over there has a finger he may be willing to part with. He only has one infected, and he's mentioned cutting it off.
Do
Hugo
you,
says it. Hugo says it in total seriousness, just because you've said let's cut it off like 3 times.
do you think cutting it off would make it worse? Make it better?
Why
Why don't you study it?
I have no idea if it would do either of those things, but it would allow me to study it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Hold on, I'll check it out. Cast detect magic again and stares at the fingers, and they don't even seem to be magical. Are you sure this isn't some sort of poison or virus?
No, I'm not capable of being poisoned.
Oh, you're one of those godly sorts.
Hmm.
You know, we have a very stringent and heartfelt follower of a god here. His name is Chris.
Chris.
Chris Christ. Wait,
Oh, I
Craig.
thought his name was
Craig.
Craig.
His name is Craig. Yes. My mistake.
Oh, yeah. Rezik is good friends with him.
Oh, are you a follower of Christianism, Christism, Craigism? I'm not sure. One of those.
Hand her a pamphlet.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, Craig is very persuasive.
He is. Very.
Man, I had something else to ask. I can't remember it. Oh, yes. In fact, this curse has spread from one finger to another ever since I took up this torch. And he pulls the torch out of his backpack.
Oh, interesting. Another magical item. You adventurers are full of them these days, aren't you? She
We
holds
tend
a
to
hand to snag the torch if you'll let her.
He's holding in his hand, and he sees her reach out. Does he feel anything while he's holding in his hand?
It's not warm now.
Does he feel any strong urges to give it to her or not?
Nope.
So he hands it to her.
Okay. It seems to be an inert sconce type torch to me. I don't see any magic or detect magic still going. All four of you roll perception. Of course.
I don't know what you want from me.
I know.
Magic goose eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, just magic
Exactly
goose
what
eyes
you're
as
doing right
always. Yep, exactly as expected.
Mhm.
So Genra, this is very hard to like. You're gonna notice something. I need you to roll, let's say, intelligence to try and get more out of me from it. All right, there you go. So you're watching her as you have been this whole time. You already had this row with her, so you're already kind of on guard. She looks at the torch. She seems legit about it being totally mundane or whatever. And then she picks the torch, like she hands the torch back to Ugla, and then like scans the four of you, and her eyes widen, like ever so imperceptibly, as she glances over, as she like screens over Rezik. She hands
What's
the torch
that?
back. What's
What
the?
was that?
I said the torch seems mundane.
Yes, would you like to share what you realized about one of us?
About one of you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
You
know
don't have
one
to
of
say
you is very
boy.
rude, and I know another seems to be very placating. What else are you trying to learn?
Just what you seem to be interested in with Rezik.
Oh, well, if I'm being honest, he's a striking young man.
Hmm. Anything else?
Red's like, ooh. His beak has a particularly fine shape to it.
Mm-hmm. And what does that have to do with the torch?
Oh, nothing. That's a torch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm old, but I'm not dead.
You do seem to be hiding something.
I'm hiding many things. I'm an old woman and a professor of necromancy.
Well, of course, but what do those things have to do with Rezik? That's what I would like to know.
As far as I know, nothing. Rezik, are you undead?
No.
Well, then I've got nothing.
Why would you think he's undead?
I don't, but your woman here is interrogating me. Because I had a very slight affection for a handsome young man.
She has a very keen eye. I've picked up from time to time.
In fact, she's the one who noticed he was feeling something strange earlier when Boy drew Road to the Night Sky.
I can't see
In fact,
what that has to do with me.
Maybe
It
y'all are
might not
seeing
have
something
to do with
similar
you,
in him.
Then it's your father, which, there is more there that we could talk about.
I imagine so, but once again, he vanished, and I don't know what he would have to do with this now, given that he is most certainly dead by these many years.
Yes, and
Could
you
he-
likely might have, someone initiated his bones as, a donation, perhaps?
I suppose it's possible, but no. That's not really possible. All bodies to be turned into servitors are confirmed as themselves and as a willing donation. That would mean we had to have found him, which we haven't.
That you know of.
Yes, that I
Did-
know of, but I'm the one who performs the ritual.
Either way, that is not what we're talking about here. We are talking about Rezik, who I did notice, as Ugla pointed out, he was having some strange reaction to Road to Night, as seen in that drawing from Boy, this servitor with
Oh,
some sort of
Night Road to Sky. Ugla butts in. Sorry.
and now you seem to have sparked some sort of interest in Rezik, and I'm just so curious. What would initiate that after handing back this torch? What are you trying to perceive in all of us? Are you intimidated?
Are,
I am
something
intimidated.
to-
You keep yelling at me.
I
I'm
mean,
a little
I'm not
intimidated
scared
too.
right now.
are
She
you
scared
okay?
me a couple times too.
Genra, are you okay? You've been
Oh, I'm quite well.
you're whoo today.
No, this is
I have
normal.
never
It's
been
okay.
more sharp.
She's
You
This
sure
is
did.
normal.
Like you accusing me a bunch of stuff today, and this woman you never met complimented me. Now you're all on
She's
her.
very
What's
sharp,
going on?
Rezik. You were acting strange earlier.
Rezik, you are very quick to turn on me and take her side. Now tell me why that is.
Hmm.
You have no reason to take
Acting
her
out and
side.
lashing out at people here today. I'm just trying to check on one of my friends.
Mrs. Nightseed,
Just trying to check on you.
did you say earlier that a necromancer could store his soul in a book?
I suppose, yes. Well, I mean, it would have to be an extraordinary book. The soul storing magics, which again are a little beyond me, I hope to achieve that kind of power one day, require if I recall correctly, they require a receptacle of great value.
Oh. He turns to Lycus. He's like, maybe we found that too. Maybe we pull out the magic potion receptacle we had earlier.
The transmutation, or that's not quite what we're looking.
No, it would
Not-
certainly be necromancy.
Yes.
Mm. I mean, could that book have contained a soul?
I mean, it doesn't look terribly valuable.
But it had something to do with essence.
Yes, but that's some 70% of all necromancy spells.
Fair.
It was clearly deeply personal to whoever wrote it.
Clear to you, maybe. I don't read madness.
There's a lot of dots here. I'm just not quite sure how to connect them yet.
Me neither.
Genra, what did you notice just a minute ago?
I'm pretty sure I dropped a noodle. Well, she was handing that torch back to Ugla and glanced at all of us. And every one of us seemed to draw zero reaction except when she arrived on Resik, and she had a slight reaction to him. Which is very strange given what we know from earlier tonight. And I find it very interesting that she denies that she did anything but look at him. There was much more than looking going on there. She had a reason to do it.
I mean, if there's something wrong with him, could you please tell us?
As I've already explained, now she goes back to embarrassed. I found him attractive. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that. I shouldn't have to be interrogated for such a thing.
You have not
that's
found him
fair.
attractive the entire time we were in this room, and then suddenly
I hadn't had a
happen?
good look at you. If you were paying attention so well as you say, you would have seen me look at all of you.
Oh, I did see you look at all of us. Just not that way.
Well, I didn't see anything I liked until I got to him.
Which is?
He's handsome.
And my perfect insight is just like, this is all legit.
Oh
Does he
yeah, like
remind you of
we're past your perfect insight. That like there was a line of questioning you had going, and now we're
This
well
is way
beyond
off
that.
it.
Yeah,
What could I roll again
if
for
you'd
this?
like, yeah.
Evidently, Ugg was very insightful tonight.
I lost my screen. Ah, there we go.
Jenna wants to know if she sees her dad.
In Rezik,
Mm-hmm.
like
Something.
he's the reincarnation.
Who knows?
It's
I
the
mean,
wrong race, but
Genra, you
maybe.
might as well roll insight too.
All right.
29.
Not
Oh,
Great.
pointless. It's when you tell me.
Yeah.
That's
right.
where
Yeah.
mm.
Genra and Lycus, you don't know anything. Ugla, you still feel like she's hiding things, but that feeling has not gone away the entire time you've been here.
Right. I mean, it. What could? I'm so confused. I'd really like to believe that you just think he's attractive, but you just know way too much about all of this for me to believe that. Like,
You came to me for my knowledge about a topic, and I gave it to you. Then you interrogate and abuse me in my living quarters, in my night robe, and now you want to disabuse me as if I am not allowed to keep my own thoughts and company in my mind. It is not my requirement or your privilege to demand anything from me.
you've been nothing but helpful tonight. And
Agreed.
we are extremely thankful for you and the effort that you've put into this tonight. When we file our report with the dean, we will note, we will exclude your experiments on the servitors,
I appreciate that.
and we will note how helpful you've been in everything that you've said and done with us. But in order for that to take place, we really do need everything that you know. If you see something interesting about Rezik, given the strange, incredible amounts of magic and bullshit that we've been exposed to, please just let us know, even if it's just the smallest inkling.
We are very concerned with the tenders of the flame and calamity. Those are the things that we are concerned with. There's a broader thing happening, and we're trying to understand how that connects to this place. And we were brought here on the pretenses of it connecting somehow, and that's not a coincidence. So if you can divulge any information, it would be very helpful.
Why didn't you ask about that in the first place? This is the first I'm hearing of that.
Well, we had to be sure that we could trust you, and quite frankly, I'm not convinced that we can.
I'm not convinced that you're trustworthy either, and yet you're here demanding answers of me.
Absolutely. We know a lot of things. We've had experiences that are very unusual and pertain to these things. So we have to tread very lightly.
I
in what we
imagine
do and
so.
say.
So, the corruption, you say? Yes, I do know something about that. Once again, it seems coincidental that Mordain and I were discussing this just a few weeks back. If only you had decided to mention it earlier rather than interrogating me.
So it was directly about that?
Yes.
Wait, Mordain asked you about the corruption.
He asked me in that same conversation about varieties of undead. He was curious about elemental energies and if they interacted with those who lack life or have the unlife in any way.
Hmm. Are you aware that Mordain might have tried to kill us today?
How could I possibly be aware of that?
Well, you might not be, but with your knowledge and experience with him of recent days, you could be in danger as well.
It would be very, very, very strange that all those pages got ripped out of all those books and he knew nothing about it.
I
This man
agree.
was looking
Why
us
would
in
he
the
tell
face
us
the
if
whole
he
time.
did? He
I
has
agree.
access to all of them.
Now, hold on. We're jumping a lot of dots here. many of those books are damaged and have had missing pages their entire tenure here inside the avium. I'm not trying to cover, just to be clear.
That's a very convenient excuse for the parts that we were investigating to be the
Oh, were they
pages specifically.
relevant pieces were missing?
Absolutely.
They were
Oh.
relevant to investigation,
Well, that
and some
does
of them
that
had
is
been torn out
suspicious.
less than a
Yes, that is quite suspicious. I I I have known Modane most of my life. I'm very hesitant to believe that he is doing anything nefarious. However, what evidence you've given me, which I take with all grains of salt, might not be all evidence necessary, does point that he's probably the only one likely to have the answers. I, I, she looks like she feels bad. She and Mordain are friends.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I would suggest that you bring this to the dean in the morning and see what his thoughts on the matter are.
You know, he did not want us to take this book.
Well, that makes sense. Books are not supposed to leave the archives.
Well, if anything, you'd think he would be very staunch in that, but he did graciously let us take it, which
Did
is
he?
convenient.
That seems unlike him.
Well,
He
that is
handed
what
it to
he
me.
did.
He definitely did not, but all right. Sure.
okay, well- He was tired and just let it slide.
Well, no, he protested quite profusely until you outnumbered him and were like, our authority and rank! That seems unlike him, but well, there are lots of questions coming about him tonight.
Do you think, with what you shared, with the knowledge you shared of him, and perhaps something in the Necronomicon Ex Corvus, he could have summoned those shadows on his own?
Well, yes, the Necronomicon Ex Corvus does contain the knowledge necessary to summon undead. Theoretically, she latently adds, like, I've never done that! No, theoretically!
Hmm.
I kind of feel like y'all are both itching, or both scratching at the same itch, but maybe going about it in different ways. For what it's worth, I trust you, Professor Nightseed, and I think you're a good person.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
By the same token, I'm suddenly very cloudy and full of questions about Mordain. I understand that y'all are friends and that you go back very far. Have you ever seen any relevant? Oh, I'm not sure. Have you seen any shifts in his attitude or in his demeanor as of the past, I don't know, months or year? Any shifts in personality?
She will roll. Let's see. She's a smart bird. That's not a command. Good job, Brandy. Good job. Try again. Huh. Oh, she rolled quite well. Well, I suppose if I were to really be trying to look for problems, maybe a month, maybe a month and a half back, he became more friendly than he once was. Not strangely so. Just we used to talk as yes to me. I am admittedly not close as I said with my colleagues. Some due to my calling and others due to my personality. And she looks embarrassed. But Mordain and I have always gotten along friendly enough, and just maybe a month and a half ago we had coffee and chit chatted, and nothing really beyond that. Waves in the hallways.
Maybe sparked and compelled by a sudden interest in necromancy.
I suppose. She looks sad. She thought she made a friend.
That's so sad.
Ugla picks up on that. It's okay. There's many other bright people in the avium, and if you put yourself out there more, I'm sure they'll reciprocate.
That's very kind of you. I suspect you don't know many necromancers in your lifetime.
Well, I know that people of my order have opposed them for many hundreds of years, but
Yeah, that makes sense.
but if you're an example of a necromancer, then don't seem that bad to me.
Well, thank you.
Plus, you created a pretty cool guy right here, right, boy?
Boy, I, I, I still don't think that was me. If I'm being honest, my experiments have never turned out anything like that.
Oh no. What else do you think Mordain might have done? Did
Oh,
he ever get into the ritual room?
no one's been in there. There's a series of keys, some magical, some mundane, all of which are on my person.
Is there any other room there where that could have been turned into a ritual room?
I mean, there are lots of large rooms in the university, but
And some hidden in the archives.
and some hidden anywhere. I mean, I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't be entirely surprised to discover there were ancient rituals of the original crafters of the avium still hidden outside of our sight. But I would be shocked if Mordain had the wherewithal or the knowledge to create this particular ritual or one like it. It is quite unique.
So for him to have affected your creations like this, he'd almost certainly have to be working with someone else.
To be honest, my academic opinion is that this is most likely an accident rather than a purposeful result. I again, and I don't want to quash your hopes. I don't think that creature has any sentience. I suspect that some byblow of magical energies has attached the magical soul binding with human like activities or actions and an amount of memory not related necessarily to a person.
Does that sound right to you, boy?
Boy,
Hmm.
Does the dean have access to every place in this school?
well, yes. Given, I mean, now some spots are keyed, so if he wanted to see the ritual room, he would have had to ask me. But like, there are no places that he is barred from.
Has he ever been in your ritual room?
Yes, when I was being brought on as professor and head of the theoretical necromancy studies, he is the one who showed it to me. In fact,
Oh, so he had access prior to you.
yes, when my father was the head of theoretical necromancy.
Mm-hmm. Did your father obviously have a key?
Well, yes,
Is it the same one?
it is.
And your father went missing
He did.
with his keys?
No.
Where did his keys go?
They were here in his office. Well, not here. She's not in her office. They were in his office.
And where are they now?
Here with me.
So these are the same keys that your father had.
Yes.
And you know that for a fact.
They have his inscription upon them. He crafted them himself.
Is there any chance do you recall which room was his office?
It's my office now. Yes, of course.
Oh, is there any, would you be comfortable with us searching it?
So long as I am present and can remove my personal effects.
Oh, absolutely. It's more about any sort of hidden doodads, traps, or, you know, strangeness that might have been left over there from its previous occupants.
Certainly.
Like I said, you seem to be quite trustworthy, so nothing that would implicate you.
How friendly did you and Mordain get?
I've already described our relationship, I believe.
Yes, I was just curious if there was anything in addition to
No.
add.
No.
Okay.
Don't you think they've been fucking?
Yep.
Wow.
No,
Of course. Perfect. You know what? You think they were fucking.
So yeah, he interpreted. So old people meeting up for coffee. Ah, they were fucking.
Yeah. Like your insight is so bad that
Well,
it wraps around
and
to
if
she's definitely
Mordain-
lying.
Well, and it conveniently lines up that if that was the case, and it's confirmed that's the case, then clearly Mordain got access to her office through her,
Right.
um, did his stuff, got to the ritual room, did things, and now we're left with this whole mess.
Right.
Professor Lycus has cracked the whole thing open
Obviously.
through that one key insight of them doing the old in and out.
Ugh.
All right.
And on top of it, she's a slime.
And a slime. Yes.
God,
The
Core
throwbacks.
plot right there.
oh
Everybody.
my god. You'd think Ugla would have picked up on that quickly, but I guess he's losing it.
He's off his game. All right. So what are you doing?
I'm so glad you were able to speak with us tonight. Like I said, I just have the strangest feeling that I don't know. Given the attack earlier and all of these things accelerating and coming together so quickly, that something terrible might be about to happen.
That's. I certainly hope not. I mean, though I suppose luckily we are kind of prepared for terrible things. This is the foremost magical institution in the air in the kingdom. If anything needed magical solving, it would be here.
Indeed.
And it would be and if someone were trying to target it for whatever reason to say disable the wood from dealing with any sort of magical issue, they would first try to decapitate things here.
Yes, I
Oh, yeah.
suppose so.
Right.
They'd have to rot it from the inside first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness! I've just remembered. There were pages missing from the Necronomicon.
Hmm.
Do you have any idea what was on those pages?
Yes, it described the creation, not the summoning, but the creation of an undead creature. It was. I'm trying to remember. It's been some years since I read the tome, and of course, with them missing, I don't have a perfect memory of them. Random dog paw.
What kind of creature?
It was some sort of hodgepodge, like an amalgamation of several creatures, and in doing so, they had an unnatural hatred or thirst for life. Sounds like an undead thingy.
Undead thingy.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're not like necromancy's not your area.
No. It is like the furthest thing
Right.
from what
So,
he does.
yeah, like that, like necromancy, you're like undead shit, bad stuff, could be made from bodies, hates life. Yeah, that sounds legit.
Evocation, abjuration,
Right.
like transmutation,
Right.
conjuration, that would be in his wheelhouse.
Yeah. Oh no, this could be bad. If Mordain is turned or rotten as you say, and he's the one tearing those pages, I hesitate to think what he might do if he's torn pages out of that book as well.
And every other book that could have led to possibly coming to the conclusion that he has.
Yes. Oh, I am truly concerned. I must speak to the dean.
I think we should too, and I don't think I can wait till the morning.
I think we should all go together and again tread lightly. I don't know if I trust the dean at this point. I think we could have been lured here.
He brought us in.
Yes.
We work on his behalf.
Yes, that's the perfect excuse.
If he just
What a
wanted to
cover.
kill us, he could have zapped us in the woods or the circus on the way in, right?
Sure, but some people enjoy playing games.
Well, I like games.
Suppose.
He just says that offhandedly. Ball. Well, yes, very well. We should probably awaken the dean. Well, I, I know we're hasty, but I'm not going anywhere in my night clothes. Um, and I think I need to at least send a message to the dean so he's not in bed himself. If you would be so kind, return to your own apartment, and I will meet you at the dean's office in an hour.
If you're not there in an hour,
I will be there.
all right.
Given what we've discovered tonight, I don't think it's a good idea for us to leave. Could we simply wait outside your room?
I mean, I suppose. I sure.
I fear for your safety.
I rolled
I
back
wouldn't
to
want
see if
anything
there
to
was
happen.
any like anxiety that I could perceive.
No, she genuinely feels like she wants to get ready. Like she took off all, she's an old lady, so it takes her a while to put it all back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
And she mentions, and so she's like, you could, I suppose, but if I could make a request, one of you should still return and take Boy, you called him, with you. Servitors who are assigned to an area, eventually, like something goes wrong when they are not following their assignments. I fear
What
that
goes wrong?
I fear that he will collapse or fall apart.
His assignment was to oversee us as he's done every night.
No, miss. His assignment was to oversee your apartment, I'm sure. They don't oversee people.
Boy, do you feel okay?
Boy?
Boy.
Hmm.
You wouldn't want him in the midst of any danger, anyways.
Perhaps we could stop there on the way.
Perhaps.
I mean, it won't take more than an hour, will you?
To do what?
To get yourself ready.
It takes me a while. I'm an older lady. I mean, I can hurry.
Oh, the elevators are pretty quick. We'll stay here, drop him off at our quarters on the way, and then go to the dean's office together.
Sure. That sounds fine.
Right.
All right. An hour
Oh, wait.
passes.
So when she's saying shit, am
Too
I
late.
allowed to like? I can't have incited when she said,
You should have thought of it.
"Fuck."
So an hour passes. You guys standing outside the door. She comes out in her proper, professor's attire, with her flaming red, like enhanced red feathers on her eyes. Smoky.
Creamy.
Yes.
They're on fleek.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's return Boy, and then we'll go to the dean.
Rest
All right.
comment. Looking good, Professor.
She blushes.
Mm.
Thank you, Dressic. That's very kind. Y'all head down to the apartment.
Yep.
You take the elevator. You head over there, and she waits like at the exterior hallway as you go and drop off Boy. Ugla, as you enter the apartment to drop the kid off, you spot a piece of paper underneath that had been slid beneath your door.
I'm gonna take it. So I'll turn to the group, and I was going to just go put him up. I'll be right back, guys. And so I walk in there. So I'll spot it and grab it.
Okay. For reference, for the Humblewood authors wrote an entire alphabet. It looks like
Wow.
this.
The Secret Terrarium General Wildling Eastern Midnight.
What?
Let's come along. I know where the something pages are.
This is definitely something that. Okay, so is this?
I know where the missing pages are.
How are you reading this? I'm so confused.
Oh, you posted it, dude.
The letters look very similar to like you're missing strokes off of each one, but all
Oh
the
shit!
reversed
They're
sevens look like T's.
They're mostly English. I didn't even know.
Yeah, it looks very similar to English.
I'm so genuinely confused. It's like, what the fuck? Dungeon's magic.
The Secret Terrarium.
Our alphabet. What the
Central
fuck?
something
Yeah.
Eastern Midnight.
It says
Oh,
it
Home
says
Alone.
it says the
Shit.
Forest Terrarium, Central Building, East Wing, Midnight, Come Alone. I know where the missing pages are.
Ooh. I assume "Come Alone" is in underlined.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the what's that watermark on there? Is that something
That's a fire.
Is
that's
it?
Alderheart?
No, it's the emblem of it's the crest emblem.
It's a talon holding fire.
Oh no, he's right. It's the emblem from your
Sword.
pendant, which is the avium symbol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what does it say? Sorry, one more time.
The
top
Forest
part.
Terrarium, Central Building, East Wing, Midnight. Come Alone. I know where the missing pages are.
And it's 11.
Yes, it is very late. Like you need to go now if you're going.
Come Alone.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna glance around the room really quick. Is there like a corner or a trash can or there's a waste bin, right?
Yeah. I put the boy in it.
Yeah. And there's blankets and stuff, right?
Sure.
I'm trying to figure out how to okay. I want Ugla to like figure out how to hide this little dude.
Just take the trash
Semi-effectively.
can and put it
And
over
it's
him.
hard to need to just put the trash can upside down on him. Put stuff it with blankets.
Exactly.
Will you fit in it?
Sure.
Okay.
Just tell him stay and then just
So
cover
Ugla is going to set him down in the corner of the room, right? And he's gonna say, "Boy, we have to go handle some important business. I need you to be very quiet and don't respond unless anyone but me talks to you tonight. Okay?
Boy?
It's very important and it could be dangerous. You must only talk to me tonight,
Boy.
and do not make any noise or move at all
Boy.
once I put this waste bin over you."
Boy.
Right. And so the waste bin is like not transparent or anything stupid like that, right?
No.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna put him down in the corner. I'm gonna put that over him.
Okay.
All right. And then I'm going to step outside and say, team, just 30 seconds real quick. I want to show you something. Mrs. Nightseed, just a moment.
All right.
Actually, Rezik, you stay here with her and yell real... Oh, wait, she saw something weird in you. Ginra, you stay here and yell real loud if anything crazy happens. Everyone else come inside real quick.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
Of course, she'd stick me with her.
Yeah.
So Rezik and Lycus step into the room with me real quick. So we head in.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to take them away from earshot of the door.
All right.
Close
Head
the door.
to the back of the apartment.
Yep. And I'm going to take that note out and I'm going to show it to them.
I'm like, where's boy at?
He's hidden and he's only responding to me tonight. I fear for his safety.
Boy.
Oh my gosh. Boy.
Oh. Okay. He doesn't take...
It's like you're in the room.
He doesn't take... I'm in the same room with him? Oh.
No, you're in one of the bedrooms and you stuck him in the kitchen, but you're in the apartment together.
Right.
Yeah. Say his name again real quick, Rezik.
Boy.
Boy.
Oh, okay, cool. He didn't understand my command at all. I hid him under a waste bin. I don't know, just trying to place it.
Big surprise.
You hear a soft crashing sound. Eventually, the wastebasket walks into the room, having been called.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna
Ugla,
take
I think you should go.
I'm gonna take the wastebasket off him. Say, just shrug a little. Yeah, I don't feel like I have a choice on this. I mean, one of us has to go alone, clearly. I trust all three of you Very much so. Uh,
Yep.
I'll do everything I can to stay safe and be vigilant. Just tell Professor Nightseed and Genra that I had a vision from Altus that
Quick point of order, just for game progression here. The come alone refers to the party, not to a person. Like, don't bring the guards, don't tell the dean, that kind of come alone.
okay.
In the
That's
nuances
kinda what I
of
was
the
wondering, I'm like,
in the
"Hmm."
nuances of the Humblewood alphabet, plurality is sometimes lost.
Yeah, okay, that changes a lot.
All right. Well,
Shoot, unfortunately, this kind of makes it seem like we kind of need to tell the dean, but also investigate this at the same time.
yep.
I do believe we have a good old fashioned party split on our hands.
Say it isn't so.
Hmm.
Well, why don't we let's take care of this since it's coming up quickly, and then we can go interrupt the dean in his sleep because that's going to happen.
That's true. I mean, what do we
Let's
do
go.
with Nightseed, though?
The real question is, what happens if this is a trap?
Oh, it's probably a trap.
Yeah, so if we get trapped, how do we go wake up the dean?
Wait a damn second. I know where the missing pages are. If someone legitimate knew where the missing pages were, they would just come to us and tell us. Either everyone's in on this conspiracy, except us, which would be really weird to hire us then, or this is a trap. I think I agree.
This is a political conspiracy. We're going to get our socks knocked off.
You
We
know
may as
what?
well walk into it like the bowling balls we are.
You know what? I think we tell the dean and then we pretend to come alone while him and Nightseed have like a trap sprung for whoever comes.
That's
A
going to
counter
take too
trap.
much time.
A counter trap.
It's going to take too much time. We have to go now.
You have less than an hour. You're moving to one of the floating buildings, which require like a timing on their own to get to.
I check versus my little page, my book.
Using your notes, you've got barely enough time to get there.
We have 28 minutes to get there before this is over. We don't have time.
We're taking Nightseed with us. Let's just head there.
Why not send one of us to the dean, though?
Why not
Just in
send?
case it is a big trap.
Why not send Nightseed?
She's been listening. Somehow?
No, I just want to. I'm trying to help the scene move along. It's late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send Nightseed to the dean. We go deal with it.
That's fair. Nightseed knows what we know anyway, so she's going to take that to him regardless. If there's something to that might stop or protect all of this, then at least it'll be in his hands. I agree.
Well, it's almost midnight.
Let's go.
Okay.
So we're gonna step on outside.
Yeah.
Professor Nightseed.
Yes.
We have received some strange news and will be unable to proceed with you to visit the dean tonight.
Oh.
I could go with her. What's so pressing that we can't take her?
A mysterious note?
A mysterious note, you say?
Yeah. And in
Okay.
respect to whoever may have sent it to us, I can't really
Well-
give you any more details.
I see. Well, I will go to the dean.
Yeah, we're going to have to look after this on our own.
Oh,
Could you at least tell me where you're going? Do you need help? I mean, anything?
I'm gonna.
if you
I'm,
don't hear from us tomorrow,
Uggo's gonna look her straight in the eyes, and he's just gonna just try and pull up anything that he possibly has in him to figure out if he can trust this woman or not.
Okay.
Because he really felt like he could.
All right. Roll insight.
God, this is gonna be so fun. Oh, it's good.
You at present you sense no intent or deceptions. She seems genuinely concerned. She wants to go to the dean. She is confused that you're suddenly changing direction, especially after badgering her for 2 hours.
Yeah. She has not been forthright, but the things she wasn't forthright about were things that would naturally have been curious for her as part of her profession, and don't seem to have been anything that would put her. Yeah, in general, I just don't think that she means to bring any harm to this school. So,
Mm,
Ugla in his heart feels that this is someone that he can trust.
Okay.
He says, so he's like, you know, I tend to work from impulse, and for everything I've seen from you tonight, I trust you entirely.
Well, that's very
Um,
kind of you, Mr. Agla.
and I feel like you need to know this information because you're someone we can trust. Don't share this with the dean, but if something were to happen to us, at least you would know.
I see. That this sounds very dangerous, Ugla.
I don't know what we're responding to. We're
I-
all well armed, but
How about if 2 hours pass and you're not back at your apartments, I will send the perch guard to wherever you're going.
that sounds excellent. And I'm just going to show her the note.
Oh, the forest terrarium. Well, certainly a place of study, but I can't see why anyone would want to meet there under cover of night. This is a trap. You know that, right?
It seems like one, but I can't think of a better way to find who means to do us harm or who means to be behind all this than to walk right into it, right?
I certainly suppose so. If you survive,
and Mordain doesn't have any business over there.
not in the forest terrarium. No, not.
No, this would be whoever's pulling the strings on Mordain.
Well, I'll head straight to the dean and inform him of everything but this as requested. But I also ask his discretion and that if I don't hear from you or I'll be here waiting outside the apartment for the next 2 hours. If so, I will send the perch guard.
You know, this definitely is a trap. None of this really adds up. And I still feel like if they wanted to tell us about this, they would have told us in person. Why send us out there in the middle of the night? I agree with you. Let's just take this shit to the dean.
Oh, now you're all gonna go to the dean.
Oh, great.
Ugla just swung backwards.
Okay.
What do y'all think?
I'm getting whiplash.
Yeah.
Let's try to spring the trap, and it will give us information if we're successful. Because otherwise we're just operating on the same information we have previously.
That's true. I guess we can get at both. Yeah. I guess. How do y'all feel comfortable with sharing this information with the dean? I mean, we do work for him.
I don't see an issue with it. Unless he's playing some 5D chess, which I don't think he's doing.
Nightseed, I still like your plan. Yeah, if we haven't contacted you in 2 hours, send the night guard.
The perch guard, yes, I will.
Okay, let's go. Hopefully, we'll see you soon.
Good luck. All right. Fast forward to the terrarium. I'll read the opening scene and then we'll cliffhanger it there. You skip the dean. You head for the terrarium. You arrive unaccompanied, as is requested or instructed by the note. It is a dark, moonless night as you step onto the large floating disc that houses the forest terrarium. You find yourself in an unusual woodland with several types of trees that don't look quite right beside one another. This is not a nefarious thing. They're magically housing many varieties of trees. In the center of this place is a building made up of a great central dome with which branches off into two semispherical wings on either side. The night is deadly quiet. You guys move forward. You enter into the central building, which is kind of the only direction to go unless you wanted to wander around the magical woods. And you see a shadow moving in the distance, and hear the sound of sharp footfalls on smooth stone floor. Suddenly, 2 elk skeletons flash with crackling dark energy and burst from their glass confinement. They circle the party. Dun, dun, dun. So, like, on display inside the terrarium are like like dinosaur skeletons. These are like huge elk beasts. And they burst from their enclosures and attack. That kind of stuff.
Damn it.
Damn it. All right. Late as
thing we didn't-
hail. What?
Good thing we didn't split the party.
Good thing you didn't split the party. That would have been death right there. Okay.
That wasn't a knock at you, Patrick. Because that was originally my idea. I was like, let's just split the party.
No big deal.
I mean, that was Ugla's original idea. That makes. I mean,
I was
Alright.
ready to take that lady in.
She's just a nice old lady.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Thanks, I'm cute.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Thanks, guys. Cute. Getting the 3rd degree from some mean girl. Obviously, Genra has a thing for Rezik, and that's why she got all mad. That face.
they are around the same age.
That's true. All right, those of you out there on the internet who are watching us or come back later on the VODs or maybe even on YouTube sometime in the future, we appreciate you. We hope you live your lives in a good way and a happy way. Don't forget to clip your nails and take baths and or showers.
Yeah.
Good night.
At the same time.
You don't need a killer.